Hey, very good morning and good evening, everyone. Welcome back. All right. So yesterday we got some context setting. So we understood that we are going to, refer, or we are going to, use Linux in our server operating system. So because that's what is the market numbers is telling, right? So we have seen the Wikipedia report of different operating systems, and we understood so Linux are widely used, and we wanted to go with the Linux thing. And when it comes to the Linux, you have different Linux vendors once again. So Red Hat actually falls as a leader generally, and that's where we wanted to go with the Red Hat. But Red Hat is not free everywhere or anywhere, by the way. So even let's say we're going to learn some cloud. So let me just show you some numbers, by the way. If I just try to launch some instance, that's okay. If I choose some sort of instance type, you can see this. If I just took any instance, by the way, so the Windows has one pricing, okay, and SUSE Linux has one pricing, and RHL has one pricing. You see this RHL, especially the Red Hat is having the higher pricing, but whereas the Linux is again the basic one. So Linux means so you take any other Linux, not the Red Hat, maybe a copy of Red Hat, by the way, so which is CentOS. I mean, the cost is still same, but if exclusively if you use Red Hat, it is a costly one. So Red Hat is not free, and still we wanted to use some sort of a Red Hat. So that's where the CentOS comes as a handy. So the CentOS is going to be free, even though it is a copy of Red Hat. It is free. We are going to get it, but we'll not get any support. Official support will not be there. We don't need it. Okay, that's fine. And so the version in particular we are going to go with is version 8, and we wanted to start learning Linux. And in order to learn the Linux, so we have multiple places where we can get the Linux, so by installing Linux in your laptop or creating a virtual machine in your laptop, or maybe cloud, by the way. So you have many ways of getting a Linux. Just to start with, okay. So we don't really need so many things. Or just over the browser, we are going to get the things. So that's where I just shown the killer coda link. So you can just open that particular killer coda link. Even it is, if you are using sites template also, it is there. So the killer coda link is there. So you can simply open that particular link, just fine. All you need to do is you just need to log in. So by default, maybe it will be log out. I just close this. We'll just click on this one. You need to go with the login. So click on login and choose your just Google account, which is fine. It automatically just authenticates with your Google thing and just comes back. And maybe once you sign in, it brings to the home page. Maybe you can close this after login and open it once again. If you are using this template, sites website, will be here. Or if you are using some other, so other URL, so it is also mentioned in the same. Links are same, but just the UI templates are a bit different. That's okay. However it is, so this is the one, and we're going to start with the Linux basics. Let's get on to the Linux basics. All right, so here the Linux basics, basically in this section, we're going to learn some Linux basic commands. Now, let me also bring the Windows environment in parallel so that I can compare and teach you. Okay, so the Linux and Windows in parallel, if I run and show you, it is easier for you to understand the things. Just so there is some approach I'm taking in between. So you don't need to worry about that. Why? Because I'm taking these approaches or what it is running something out there doesn't really matter. Why? Because so this killer coda is actually giving only Ubuntu environment, and but we want CentOS. I'm just doing some workaround to get a CentOS box, and I'm just getting the CentOS box. So to learn the Linux basics, this is fine, and we'll start from this. Okay, and here is just a Windows environment also. I will compare with the Windows because most of you are comfortable with the Windows, or every one of us at least knows the Windows thing, and we will learn from there. Okay, shall we get it started? So just to get it started, so we're going to start with start. Now the advantage of this killer code is on the left side you're going to have a document, on the right side you have a command line to practice. Okay, so it is easier to learn as well. Certainly, so the practice is also easier. Now what I'm trying to tell here is, so you can see the picture how the commands looks like would be in the Linux. In Linux is a command line operating system. We already talked about it. Linux is a command line operating system. So that means everything we wanted to do is going to be a command line. So here is the Linux interface. Windows interface is this. Okay, Windows also you can do something like, so you have CMD, you can open command line, and you can do from command line. But we are mostly dealing with I'm really sorry. Yeah, so screen is fine now. Yeah, sorry. All right, so yeah. Yeah, so this is the killer coda, by the way. So killer coda, once again, maybe I will just come back to the starting, maybe starting of the course, if I miss this. So here's the Linux basics. So just click on Linux basics. And we can start with the Linux start. And this is what I'm talking about. So here the killer coda is giving Ubuntu by default, by the way. So now we want is a CentOS. So that's where we're with the CentOS. And again, as I told, so different vendors, by the way, doesn't really matter which OS we use. But yeah, so since on the enterprise level, so Red Hat is widely used, we're going with learning Red Hat. Ubuntu, Red Hat, anything mostly more or less same. Don't worry too much about it. Okay, now this is going to be a command line interface. So you'll get a command line, which is fine. This is going to be a command line interface, and Linux is a command line mostly like, we deal with command line. So since it is command line, so it is going to be much faster and efficient, by the way, whereas the UI is going to be a little bit lazier. Okay, so the Windows also we can deal with the command prompt, but we don't do that. Mostly we'll deal with the UI, and that's how we got used to. Okay, but you can deal from the command line as well, but that's okay. Doesn't really matter at this point of time. So we'll be going with understanding the Linux operating system by comparing with the Windows, and so that it is easier for us. And Linux, everything is a command. So this is a command line prompt, and this is a screenshot which I'm trying to give. So which will help you in understanding. By seeing the prompt, you will understand certain things. So what are the things that we should understand? By seeing the prompt, by the way, you should understand which user we logged in. Okay, so here in our case, it is a root user we logged in. Okay, and so then at the rate, the name of the server, at the rate, the server name which we got is, this is the name of the server we got it. And on the prompt, by the way, so here is a prompt, and here's a prompt. Here you can type some commands. The commands which we are going to learn now, we're going to execute some commands, and those particular commands we'll learn from there. Okay, and it could be any command, so that we'll learn some commands. But yeah, so the commands is going to be like, for an example, uname as a very basic command to understand. Okay, uname is giving some output which is called as Linux. But uname, okay, will have certain options. In Linux, the commands are going to have some options. Even in Windows also you have options if you are using command line. But however, so here uname or any other command, I mean, in that fact, doesn't really matter. Any command you take it may or may not have options. There's no mandatory that it should have option. It may or may not have an option. And the options, if there are options, how they look like. So they look like this. So -h, -v like that, or -help, -version like that, or -version, -help like that. That means hyphen single character, you'll find it out. hyphen single word, you'll find it out, and hyphen version, you'll find it out. So there are different commands works in different manner. Okay. There are different authors, developed these, and they written the things in different manner. So when you want to know that what are the options you have, by the way, my suggestion is you can start from the internet. You can get it from the command line also, but my suggestion is get from the internet. So go to google.com. Now I want uname, and I want some information. So you ask for the help, uname help, just simply like that. Then you're going to get the documentation for that. Okay. So something like this. Wherever you see Linux manual page, you can open that particular document and you can read about all the options which are there. Command line also, it will give you the same option. Uname, just something like hyphen help. You will get the same option. So here hyphen all. Here also hyphen all. Same. It will just show the same. But rather than from the command line, I would suggest you to go with the, so the documentation from the internet. Okay. And which is showing as a Linux manual page. It is easier for you to refer. Okay. That's the idea. That's okay. But yeah, so any command doesn't really matter. If you don't know about it, command, it's option. So hyphen help is what you can ask for the command from the Google. You get the help and it will list you down all the options, by the way. And all the options you don't really need to remember. So, okay, whenever there is a need, you can read the document and understand and use it. Or maybe which are the regular options which we use, maybe you just get used to them. That is okay. But you don't need to really by heart everything. Okay, each and every option out there. So what is needed will take that much only. Okay, so I've been calling this particular I've been calling this particular point again and again. Yesterday also I have mentioned. So we're not going to cover all the things in Linux, which eventually we don't need it. We don't get any value out of that also. We are going to look in. So it's just an operating system. The Linux we look at as an operating system. Okay, so so just the same operating system. So there is no absolute speciality about it. Okay, it's just another operating system, and it is widely used on the server side. That's it. So since it is a command line, we're learning commands. That's it. Okay, don't imagine big about it. Okay, so some or other how it is being shown as a very big thing. Of course it is. Even though it is a big thing, we don't need it. Windows is also a big thing, by the way. Windows is not a small thing. Okay, so Windows is even big. Okay, so or even equal big or maybe big. So we are actually not knowing every option in Windows. We're doing the things because eventually, like, whoever works on that particular area, they need certain options. Like everyone doesn't really require every option of every operating system. So that's where, so we're clearly calling it out. Okay, Linux, we're going to learn just as an operating system. In the operating system, so whatever we do, we'll learn those particular things. And Linux is a command line option. Linux is a command line operating system majorly, though it has graphical. We don't go with the graphical. It's going to be a command line. To make it faster, we use command line. The moment you add more UI to this, so you install so many software to get the UI, the more software you're having, it is going to be more slowness it becomes. For an example, you take your mobile. On the day when you purchase it, it's going to be too much faster. But the moment you install so many apps, maybe at least minimum 100 apps will definitely install, okay, on a mobile. And slowly it will become slow, right? So that's how it is going to be. Here also it is the same. Okay, we want to make it faster. We want to make it more responsive. Okay, that's where we always keep it thin. Okay, that's the point. And so here it is. So these commands are actually going to have certain options, and depends upon the command, you might see the options as maybe hyphen single character, hyphen single word, or hyphen single word again. Okay, so it depends upon the command. So for an example, uname, by the way, uname hyphen h, or it is not coming, or hyphen a, it's coming, and hyphen all, it is coming, or maybe hyphen all, it is not coming. Okay, so the author has actually not defined this way. Maybe Java, not there, not there. Just to show you some options, find is there, right? So find slash hyphen name hyphen name. Now you see the options were coming it as so hyphen and a single word. So the find command is actually coming with an option with hyphen single word. But whereas uname is coming with hyphen single word and hyphen single character. It all depends upon the command. Every command has its own options. It's not like every command should maintain the same thing. No, it's an open source world. Okay. So these operating systems are open source. So many developers contributed to this. Everyone have their own context. Okay. So that is where, you'll see these differences, by the way. All right. That is okay. So, but the context is very clear. Every command has its own options. Sometimes the command also will have some inputs also. For an example, maybe ls command I'm taking, ls-l I'm doing. So it's doing something different. The moment you enable some option, it is going to behave differently. Okay. So ls is doing something. It's giving the output. And ls-l is also giving the output in a different way. Okay. And also if I just give some inputs also will be there. Okay. So sometimes you need to provide some inputs also. For an example, maybe I'm installing a package. You need to tell which package you're installing. If I'm adding some sort of a user to the system, I need to tell which user I need to add. Okay, some inputs need to be provided, right? So the commands may or may not have some inputs also. Or on the very high level, by the way, the commands is going to have may or may not have options, may or may not have inputs. It all depends upon the command and the requirement you need it. Okay, what is your requirement? Based on that, you have to either you choose option, whether you choose input, however it is, all depends upon you, your requirement. Okay, otherwise OS still remains same that way. Okay, so to start with, so this is the basic pretty introduction I wanted to talk about before going with the actual commands. And so let's go and try to just feel the commands, by the way. Let's execute some commands and let's get a feeling of how to execute some commands. Don't worry about the commands. Okay, just to get a quick overview about our machine, by the way. Now I got a machine. Now I want to know that quickly overview of my machine. Now let's say I joined an organization. The first time I'm logging to the machine, maybe I will check it out. What is this machine? Okay, what is the basic information about this machine and things like that? I'll understand that. Okay, by executing some commands. So here also I'm going to execute some commands. Just feel the output. Don't look into the command, by the way. So I want to check the vendor, by the way. I can execute some command. Now it is telling that, so it is a CentOS Stream 8 release. Okay, it's a CentOS 8 stream. So I already talked about the CentOS is renamed as CentOS Stream. Now it is being called as a CentOS 8, CentOS Stream, which is a copy of Red Hat. So since it is CentOS Stream 8, it is a CentOS, or it is a Red Hat 8. Red Hat 8 version is being copied as CentOS Stream 8. Okay, so which is this one. So it is telling the OS information. So something I executed, blah, 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 doesn't really matter. I executed something, I'm getting the output. So now the context you need to understand. I want every one of you to take the context from here is you execute a command and you get some outputs. Based on the outputs, you understand what is it. Okay, if it is a Windows, if I want to know what operating system it is, maybe I had to go to my PC or something like that, or maybe I don't know, so somewhere PC, I don't know, so this something changed, my computer will not come. But yeah, so something, maybe I'm not sure. So somewhere in the properties, you will get that option. Okay, let it be. Even if it is, I don't find it also is fine. So, but somewhere, okay, you will be able to maybe Windows something or a system, you have something, it is telling that, so it is something, okay, about is telling that, so here it is a Windows, maybe some operating system it is telling. Yeah, Windows 11 Home. Right. So this is what is I'm getting, right? So because it is a Windows 11. So here also I'm executing a command and seeing some output like that. Here also you'll refer the output only, like, so somewhere you see the text and understand what is it. But here in Windows, you click it, whereas in Linux, you execute a command and you got the output, you read it. That's it. Okay, there you click, here you execute a command. That's it. That's the difference. Okay. The next one may be a CPU information. So something. So now it is telling that it is an Intel Xeon processor. And whereas in my Windows, here only it is showing it is mine is i9 processor here. Whereas here it is a Xeon processor. So Xeon is the processor which is mostly a server side series. Whereas i3, i5, i7, i9, these are desktop side series. Whereas Xeon series is mostly used on the server side and bit more information about the CPU, by the way. Okay, so just a feel, not really worry about everything. Now something like, I want a memory information. It is telling me that, so it is a total memory. So that means this is kilobytes. So that means I'm going to say that, so 2030 megabytes or even 2 gigabyte of RAM. So this much is close to 2 GB of RAM. Okay. In Windows, maybe I'll be, so they're only showing it's an 8 GB of RAM. Okay. So that is how it is. And so maybe if I want to check the disk information, so I'll go to the LSBLK. So it is telling me that, so there is a, loops you can ignore. Okay. Loops and all you can ignore. So those are just for internal references for the operating system. But here the VDA, virtual disk, because these are all virtual machines, isn't it? We talked about virtual, right? Virtual machines. So VDA means virtual disk. It's not a physical disk. So if it is SDA, yes, S stands for SATA. Okay, there are two types of hard disk, right? PATA hard disks and SATA hard disks. PATA and SATA. Okay, so there are two types of hard disks. So we used to have one is parallel port, another one is serial port. Okay, so these are the two ports. If someone have an understanding about the old hardware, if you have ever seen, so this is the earlier old days we used to have a hard disk. This is a parallel port, and after that it is being replaced with SATA. Okay, so I don't know really what is now going on. Mostly it is serial only. Serial is faster. It is serial. USB, that is also serial port only. USB also universal serial bus. Okay, now S stands for, back in days Linux, if it is a PATA, we used to see like, something like PDA, I think, if I'm not wrong. I could be wrong as well, but I think like it used to be started with some P only, but not, I don't remember the full form, very long back. But yeah, so PADA, okay, it's a PATA, so that's where PDA or HDA. Yeah, someone was saying it's a HDA. It was actually HDA, and after that SATA came into picture. So to differentiate that, they start with SDA. OS automatically starting with SDA, and after that, so now you have virtual disk. Now that's where you will see that as so VDA, virtual disk, okay, or XVDA. X also you will see something. Okay, so sometimes you will see XVDA also. XVDA also is fine. LSBLK. Now you see this here. It is a little bit different. Is also given to the same thing, right? So here depends upon the virtualizer. I mean, it's also a virtual disk, by the way, but depends upon the virtualization technology what we use. We are going to get it is I think NVMe is a different thing, not a SATA game. It's going to be a different one. So it's a inbuilt hard disk. Okay, sorry. So now you have a hard disk directly injected onto the board. Okay, so on the server side, I think you might be seeing it is NVMe. I'm out of hardware technology. Okay, I'm really not aware of that, but generally if you add some additional disks, by the way, to the server, so you usually see like XVD and all. Okay, so here you're getting the disk from the inbuilt hard disk. So your server is going to have a inbuilt hard disks, and I think the disk came from there. So that's where it is showing that particular name. So whatever it is, so it's all going to be different names you're going to see. So here we are getting the VDA. So that means like this is a virtual disk from the virtualization. Where is this? This is a virtual disk from the virtualization. Just try to understand. And it is being created as a partition, VDA1. Okay, so these two you can ignore. So this is okay. But yeah, so some partitions are there. So what is partition? Your C drive, D drive, like that is there, right? Those are partition. I think like, so disk, disk information, manage disks and volumes. If you just go there, now you're having, so here also I'm having NVMe something. Okay, so this is also little so it's actually in this interface is bad. Back in days, old operating system used to give properly. So now you can see this virtual disk, by the way, which is NVMe disk. Even here also in my laptop, it's an inserted hard disk. It's a Mac OS, by the way. The laptop, it's basically inbuilt hard disk. Okay, and this hard disk is also NVMe. And so here I'm having so one partition, second partition, third partition. look into properties. I don't know whether it's showing the partition table, partition style. That's okay. Properties, it's not showing. Okay, that's fine. Okay. This is okay, but yeah, so you're seeing this, so some partition thing. Okay, so it has been, so partition pieced into some multiple pieces. One hard disk, you're going to cut into C drive, D drive, E drive, like that, right? Same thing here. So it has been cut into pieces somewhere. That's okay. All right. So that is how you can check the disk information. Okay, and you can read the information like this. Now, also another thing we can check it out is our machine is a 32-bit or 64-bit. uname-i is something it is giving some output, which is x86_64. The x86_64 is going to tell that is a 64-bit. If you see a word 64, it is 64-bit. Now here also I can go to the here and it can show me whether it is a 64-bit or 32-bit by directly writing it as a 64-bit. And by the way, like, so starting from CentOS itself, that means like almost a decade back. So we don't have an operating systems running with 32-bit anymore. So server side is already, everything is 64-bit. Your mobiles is also 64-bit. Okay, your mobiles itself is a 64-bit now. So that means much faster processing. 32-bit means it is going to be half of the processing size. Or a 64-bit means double the size of it. Okay, which is faster way. And that means like, so the bits that transfer between the hardware peripherals is 64 bits, by the way. So that means big size. And that's why those are faster and server needs it and eventually. So at least the Red Hat stopped the 32-bit very long back. We don't need it anymore. So, but if you see 32-bit, it's going to be i386, something like that. But mostly you'll never see it. Okay, it's all going to be 64-bit. And if it's 64-bit, so x86_64 is what you see. Okay, so now what is our understanding? By the way, we just got some feeling about an operating system, like, so if you want to interact with an operating system about something that what you want to do or know, you execute some command and it displays something. And based on that, you will understand what is it or what has happened and something like that. Okay, execute a command, refer the output, execute the command, refer the output. So this is the fundamental cycle or the ecosystem that you follow around Linux command line, by the way. Execute a command, understand the output, execute the command, understand the output. So this cycle is you have to, so you have to kind of get used to, by the way. Okay, until now, just only the feeling, by the way, to help you in understanding. I told you Linux is a command line operating system. You execute a commands and the same thing, like, so, and you can go on to the we went onto the command line and we executed some commands just to feel it, how is it looking like. That's it. Now we'll start with the actual commands. Okay, so shall we let's get it started. Okay. I'm hoping no questions so far because technically I'm not teached anything. So just only want to give you some context around it. Okay. So let me start with the real commands. If you have any questions, we'll see it. All right. So let's go on to the first command, which is listing files and directories. In Windows, how do you list files and directories? You open a folder, automatically it shows you. That's it. Right? Open it automatically. Maybe let's say you're going to C drive or somewhere. It automatically show you what is inside it. Windows just show you. You click on that, it automatically the window will show you. Here you'll not get that way. So that is where the first command which we are going to talk about here is the ls command, by the way. So to get a list of files and directories, okay, so ls command is the one which we are going to use, and ls command. ls command is going to show you, but it will not going to show you some hidden files, by the way. And if you want some hidden files, you have to use an option ls-A. So ls-A is the one which is going to show you some hidden files. Windows also the same thing. You have somewhere the options. You can go to the view and you can see this hidden files, by the way. So show hidden files, if you give, apply it. Okay. Now you see this, there are two more directories which is coming into picture. Previously, these were not showing, if you have observed. So let me go once again. Go once again to the options, go to the view, If I disable that, so those two is gone. By default, it is not visible. Now, if I go to here, options, view, show one, you see them, right? Linux, it is very simple. Now you see this Windows. If you want to see them and hide them, how much effort you have to keep it. Linux, it is very simple, isn't it? ls-A, that's it. You got it. So fast, right? So whatever it is, so now you're able to see the list of files, by the way, which are hidden even. ls, by default, it will show you normal files. ls-A is going to, ls-A is going to show you the hidden files. Okay, now there is one more property, by the way, ls-L, so which is going to show you a little bit more information about it. Maybe in Windows also, you want to see this a little bit more detailed way. So it's already in detail. Maybe if it is a list, or you want in a detailed view, so you just click on detail, so you get the details, maybe something. The same way here, so it is going to be ls-L. It is just showing you so certain more information. What is this information? You will understand that bit later, but at this point of time, it's just showing extra information. Okay, lengthy information, long list, we call it up. So here it is. Now ls is going to be normal files, ls-A hidden files, ls-L normal files in a long list, ls-L also you can include multiple options also. That means hidden files in a little lengthier output, like detailed output. These are the options I want you to learn in ls command. And ls command is going to show you the files, list of files and directories in whichever the directory you are in right now. Right now, you are in some location. If that location it is showing, okay, Windows also, it will show you of some location, because on the top, you can see this is the location you are in right now. Of that location, it is trying to show you. So here also you are somewhere, that's okay. You don't know about the directories part, that is okay. You're somewhere, but it is showing you the list of files in that particular location. So these are the three things that, so the two options with ls command is what I want you to learn for listing out the things. So is it clear? Any questions on ls command? And if you have any questions, you need to raise your hand so that you'll get an unmute option. So otherwise you'll not get it. By default, it's not there. So if you have any questions, you need to raise your hand. So we'll get you allowed to talk. Yes, John.
Here used ls hyphen l. It's showing total number of 12, but down it's showing only 3, 4, right?
Yeah, 12 is not really the number of 12, number of files. It's never telling that it is a number of files. Okay.
Okay. So what's the purpose of that? Like, why it's coming like that? Like, is there any purpose like that? Like,
yeah,
it's regarding the files or anything like that? That's my doubt.
Yeah. So it is actually showing the number of blocks. Okay. So on a hard disk, it's going to be sectors and blocks. Okay. Every partition is going to have sectors and blocks. It is showing you how many number of blocks it actually really consumed. It consumed 12 blocks.
Oh, okay.
Hard disk, sectors, and blocks. Okay. So this is how it is. So it is showing you how many number of blocks it actually has been consumed so far. Right. Yes, Shashida. I'm unable to hear you. Yes, Karthik.
Yeah, hi, Raghu.
Yeah.
So this the total sectors that's getting displayed over here, right?
Mhm.
So is it the number of vectors occupied by the files that you're trying to search?
Yes.
Okay, so I think this command is going to just list out the files, number of files in a directory, right?
In a directory, yes.
Okay, so now this is listing. When you put this command, maybe can we imagine something like a dir command?
Yeah, dir command, exactly, in Windows.
Okay, so that's going to give you the list of folders and files in a particular path. So now this command line, are you executing on a path, or it is giving all the files in the system?
No, it is particularly to a path. I already mentioned about it, right? You're in some directory, somewhere doesn't really matter. You're seeing the files on that particular directory, not the system.
Okay. So in the path, so there are total of like 3 files and some hidden files are there, and these files are occupying 12 blocks in the hard disk. Can we imagine like that?
Yeah, not imagine, it's correct only.
Okay. Got it. Thank you.
Yes, funny. Yes, funny, go ahead. You are not having audio. Yes, Ganesh.
Good morning, bro. Hello?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, my voice is audible.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, present my system having Windows OS. Hello?
Do you have any question on ls command?
Yeah, that's why I'm asking. But we are going to practice the killer code. Is it necessary to install Linux?
No, I think you're not there yesterday's session.
Yeah, I am exit my session mid of the meeting.
I would suggest you to take a watch on the video. Even today starting also, I have told the same thing. Okay. So, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, Akhilesh.
Hi Raghu, my question is not regarding ls command, but
Then please park it to the end of the sessions. If you have any
Yeah,
out of
sure.
box question or out of context
sure.
questions or out of topic questions, please park it at the ending. I'll take it up.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Hello.
Yes, Chakrabe.
Yeah, in this we are using the hidden file ls-a, capital A.
Mhm.
In Ubuntu point of view, ls-small a. What is the major difference between Ubuntu and CentOS regarding commands which are using capital A and small a?
Here also you have small a, by the way, but to see the hidden files, capital A is the right option, not small a. Small a will give you more information.
Okay.
Yeah.
Both will be saved, right?
Not safe.
In Ubuntu point of view, hidden files will show ls-a.
Here also you will get the same thing. -a,
Yeah.
small a, let's say capital A. You're getting more information, by the way. You're asking for more, capital L. So you're getting more information. So this is not the right information. You're asking unknowingly that, you're asking unwanted information. You're being told to use a wrong information or wrong option so far. You never realize that you're using wrong.
Okay.
Okay.
Just we will confirm that ls-e is just shown the hidden files for your seeing in the screen. For details about capital A will be shown complete details regarding, right?
No, capital A is the right option to see the hidden files. Small a will show hidden files plus something else. You're never worried about that plus. Okay, you are looking only half information all the time. So that's where the confusion is. So correct yourself. capital A is the right option to see the hidden files.
Sure. Thank you so much. That's my question.
Just someone joined in the name of Lenovo. I don't know. So you need to join with the proper names. So otherwise it's going to be difficult. Who is this Lenovo? Can you unmute and talk? Yes. Not able to hear you.
Yeah, hi.
Your voice is very low. Maybe just take the question to the chat if you don't mind. May I answer from there?
Sure.
Hello, Raghu.
Yes.
Am
Yes, Sri.
I audible?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Can you please explain interview questions also on ls command? How it will be?
So that learning is never a right learning, by the way. You're doing a wrong learning. Learn for knowledge, not for a job. Okay. Knowledge will give you the job. Job will not give you the knowledge. Right. So learn the right way.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Interview also, like, they'll not ask you anything special, right? If they ask you about ls command, okay. Then if I ask you like, know how to see the hidden files, then you say capital A. That's it. As
Okay.
simple as-
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Just want to know how difficulty it will be. That's the way.
Yeah. So that's a wrong thought actually. You need to change
Okay.
your, okay, correct yourself. Do right things to get the right output.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, hi Raghu.
Yes.
Yeah, when we list by using this ls-l and -a, here it is showing us total 36, and you are saying that it is using the 36 blocks. Can we refer this -rw-1 and root 2361 as a single block?
No.
Because when I calculate these things, it is getting us 36. Like, or
No. It's wrong. It's completely wrong. The data inside this particular one is called as a block, not the characters displaying here. So this file is actually stored, having some data inside it. It's actually stored inside the system. Okay.
okay,
And that is consuming these many blocks.
yeah, okay.
All right, I see some questions on the chat. What is ls-ld? Yeah, so I just try to demonstrate something here. So it's only about ld is also two options, like ls-l, by the way, of maybe /opt. It gives you something, and whereas -d is going to do something, by the way. So it shows you the option, or it shows the properties. By the way, these are the properties of this directory type. It shows you that the context out them is here is. The point out there I want to mention out over there is you can combine options. Okay, that's the only point I want to mention. ls-l -A. Okay, you can combine options. That's the point I wanted to bring in. Okay, and this command works with and without options. That's also another thing that I wanted to mention. So yeah, so that's the only context about ls-ld. And another question, can you explain the read and write permissions? We'll talk about it later. Yes. And the commands are case sensitive. Yes, very good question. In Linux, everything is case sensitive. You come to the Windows, you come to the command line prompt. I'm going to type dir, capital dir. Okay, I'm typing capital. Now you get the output. Now if I give small dir, okay, you get the output. Linux, ls, you get the output. Capital ls, it will throw an error. Linux is a case sensitive operating system everywhere. Even we talk about couple of topics will come into picture later. We talk about the case sensitivity. So commands is also case sensitive. Linux is a case sensitive operating system. That's it. Very simple. Okay. So good point though. And what is the difference between ls-small a and both are same? If you give ls-small l capital A, or you give ls-capital A small l, both are same. You're asking hidden files in a long list format. It just prints the same thing. How do we know we are in particular directory? On the directory section, you'll get that answer. And to through killer coda, can we do the shell scripting? The answer is yes, you can do that. What is mean by R, W, and hyphen R? We'll do that later. And I also joined today. Can I know the yesterday recordings, by the way? Yesterday recordings, you can find out from the same link which you joined. If you joined from sites link, so the session recordings is there, or if you are joined with some other link, so the recording links are available from the same links which you joined. Okay. So the real time which terminal is used, I think unnecessary worry at this point of time. Let's park this question outside. And is there any difference interchanging in? No, there is no difference. Someone already asked, I answered it. And can you explain ls-l? ls-l is showing you little like in the Windows, it's a view, right? In Windows, you're having you go to a particular directory. So the view you're asking, maybe a list, by the way, you're seeing the list of things, maybe icons. If you just go for, you're getting something. Maybe if you want more detail about that, so just click on details, you see the view, right? So the view is changing when the date modified here also is having some date. Okay. But when you have real files, by the way, maybe if I just go with the perflogs or somewhere, I don't have access. Maybe I go to the user, my user, and I see some file, by the way. So this file is telling that, so I'm having 1280 kilobytes. So here also it is showing some bytes, by the way, and some permissions. Okay. Bit more Windows permissions, you get it like by going to the properties of that. Okay. So here it is trying to show. So ls-l is showing a little bit more information. That's it. And what is a block? So I think it is more related to the hardware context. So if you do some format, by the way, okay, your hard disk is empty, your pen drive is format, your pen drive is empty, you right click format, right? When you do a format, by the way, it creates blocks. Okay, it creates a layout. Okay, so that is called as blocks and sectors. And I think that's fine. So I think most of the commands we have answered, which is necessary to the ls command. So the blocks are allocated based on the size of the directory or file. The answer is both. It's not single, both. Based on directories and files, both together, you're going to get it. All right, so let's move on to the next one. I think a couple of hands. Yes, Krishna.
Raghu, you said commands are case sensitive, but here ls-a-capital A you use it, right? So
those are also case sensitive. Both are not same.
Okay.
Yes, Anjali.
So, what is the use of hidden files?
What is the use of hidden files? You want to hide them, right? You want to hide.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So, all right, let's get on to the next thing. Now, how to create some files? See, one more statement I wanted to make it. Okay, so in an operating system, there are multiple ways of doing the same job. There can be multiple ways. Okay, there will be multiple ways of creating the same job. Okay. That means each job can be created. So now, for an example, if I want to create a file, it can be done in multiple ways. If I want to list down the files, maybe ls command, maybe there might be some other software also to do that. For an example, if I want to edit a file, by default, Windows have Notepad. Maybe you can install some third-party software also, and you can open a text file. No problem, right? ls command is there. There might be some third-party softwares also you can download, and you can use those also to list down the files. No problem. It is possible, right? So the same way here, so like I'm going to talk about an operation, which is I'm going to talk about any operation to be done in one way. There will always be multiple ways. Okay, so just don't worry about learning about all the ways. One or other way you're doing the job, which is fine. Okay, if it is exactly doing what is, if the job is getting achieved, which is fine. Okay, exactly. If I mean, exactly in the sense like, if it is exactly happening same, then that is fine. If it is something else, the value is coming into picture, then we need to look into for some alternatives, but otherwise it is fine. So I want to set this context because maybe creation of the files, maybe another way, or you may be thought earlier, whoever has been already knew some knowledge, by the way, you thought of some other way. Okay, doesn't really matter. Okay, so this is the way, one way. Okay, and one way is fine. And you can take it from here. So how can you create some file is by using touch and the file name. Okay, so here is an example. I'm taking like, touch file.txt. Now you can just use ls-l or something like that. You can create, so if you can see the file.txt. In the above command, ls command output will show you the file is an empty size. Okay, you see this is an empty size. 0 means empty size. Now you see this, since this file doesn't have any data, previously, even though the file was not there, it was 12 blocks only. Okay, let me look at this file. Whatever it is, that doesn't matter. So ls-l. Okay, so now it is 12 blocks. Now I created file.txt, and just as an empty file, the blocks are never changing. Blocks are never changing. So for an example, okay, so whatever it is, for an example, so I create this file with some content and it is holding some block. Okay, so maybe hello file one. Don't worry about what is the command I'm executing. Just since some of the people are raised the concern, like, so what is this blocks? Now you see this file1.txt is having some 6 bytes I added to that file, and the blocks actually it consumed 4 extra blocks to keep that particular 6 bytes of data. It consumed 4 more blocks on the system. Previously it was 12, now it is 16. Okay, so that means it is not on the output. So someone actually, was calculating wrongly, right? So that's not the right thing. So here it is. So the data which sits inside here, so this is actual data which is sitting in the hard disk, how much blocks it is consuming is what is this one. All right, so that's what it is. Now let's come back to the point what we started. So how do we create a file? Touch is a command. We can create a file, and it's going to create an empty file. Windows also same thing. How do you create a file in Windows? Maybe if I go to my desktop, how do I create a file? Right click, new file. Okay, so some test file. Now this is also 0 bytes. Windows also same, no difference. Okay, this is a 0 bytes. It is same. Linux also same. It's a command you're executing. That's it. Nothing more than that. And another example is maybe a touch command. You can basically have multiple, you can queue multiple files, and all those files can get created. All those are empty files, maybe. That's okay. But the files you can create. Okay. In Linux OS, okay, so there is no extensions. Extensions are given only for user understanding. Now I created this file as .py to understand this is a Python script. I'm created this file as .txt to understand this is a text script. This is a text file. Okay, it's only my understanding. There is no need for the operating system. Windows need it. Windows, the moment you try to, you see this is a text file, but actually this is again options. How to see the file extensions. Hide extensions. Okay. Okay. So now you see this is a test.txt, but I never mentioned this has to be .txt. But Windows actually is considering this .txt as the extension, because the test is the file name in Windows. That is how Windows works. But Linux, this file.txt is a full file name. .txt is only your understanding. Your understanding. Linux doesn't bother about it. Linux never and ever bother about those things. You just kept those files for your comfort to understand those other things. That's it. Nothing more than that. Okay. And we keep it generally. Like extensions is not great. I mean, extensions is not bad. Those are great. Okay. Linux doesn't bother about it. Even we don't worry about it as well. It bothers, doesn't bother. That's okay. And this is the major reason, Linux is so famous, because Windows is infamous for this reason only. Only for this reason, okay, there won't be any virus attacks happens on the Linux boxes, okay, or malware attacks especially. Okay, so because in Windows, a file opens a program. Now, if I double click it, this file opens a program associated to that, which is a notepad. and that's where the virus comes into picture. But whereas in Linux, a command will open the file. If I want to open this file, for an example, I will open a command or a program to open this file. So that means the program I'm opening is a known program to me. But whereas in the Windows, this program, they will point it to some unintended program behind the scene. The moment you double click it, that will get executed in the system, and that sits in the system, and it will do all the mischievous things. Now that's where if any download you file it, nowadays browsers and all will tell you, hey, this file is risky and all. If you have observed the Google Chrome and all, when you try to download some files, they'll tell you this is risky or something. Okay. The moment you click on the file of the downloaded file, so it will start executing. Okay. The file will open the program, and they design that in such a way that to call some other program to sit in your system and run it. Boom. That's how the virus comes. Linux, there is no possibility of such. Okay, so that is how this is one of the reasons that why Linux is so famous. And so here Linux, we are actually not going to worry about the file extensions, because for OS it doesn't really matter. So touch is a command to create an empty file, and while creating the file we give extensions, because by seeing the file itself we understand. If I give .py, I understand it's a Python program. If I see .cfg, I'll understand this is a configuration file. I see as some log, I'll say understand this is a log file. Okay, just to have an understanding, we'll give them. We will also use this, no doubt in that. But OS doesn't bother about it, and that's okay. Okay, so that's the context about the creation of the file and creation of the file in Linux by using touch command. Any questions on that? Wonderful. No questions. Cool. So let's move on to the next one. How do you remove some files? How do you remove some files? Now, if I just I can use a command rm, maybe ls-l. So, and rm is a command, and file sample name, or sample is a file name. I'm giving sample and enter. It will remove the file. But in between, in Windows also, you try to remove a file. Maybe it will try to ask you, okay, actually right click, delete. I don't know whether it gives me the options. So delete. It's deleting because it was an empty file. Maybe I'm thinking. So let me go to the downloads. So there is some file here. So let me okay. So there is some file here. So let me right click and maybe show more options. Let me delete this. It's not an empty file. It's getting deleted. Maybe if you try to delete this file with, I don't know, it's getting deleted automatically. That's okay. But actually in Windows also it will prompt for, do you want me to delete or not? Generally, right? If you have observed. Okay. So that is what it is. So here, if I want to, okay, remove this particular file, so then it is also asking me yes or no. Okay. If you type Y, the answer is yes. If I type no, the answer is no. Okay. So type yes, type no for no, type for yes. Okay. Yes means it is going to remove the file and the sample is no more. Okay. So this is how, we are going to deal with removing a file. But, so in Windows also, if you use some option, like, if you don't want that particular to be asked, like in our case, so maybe something shift delete, because I'm not sure my, my Mac keyboard mapping to the Windows layout, there might be some differences. Usually, like when you try to delete a file, okay, you usually will get the, so yes or no prompt, right? Maybe if you use shift to delete, something like that, it will never ask you yes or no. It will never ask you yes or no. So for that particular one, and okay, if you don't want to be asked for yes or no, then rm has an option which is -f. Okay, rm-f. Okay, rm-f. if you give that particular file name, maybe notes.txt, okay, so enter. Now it will never ask you yes or no. Okay, so that is where it is going to be. That is where it is going to be. Okay, so removing without yes or no. All right, so this is how okay, we can delete the okay, so some files in Linux by using rm command. But very important thing, be careful when removing the file, as it deletes the contents of the file, and retrieving the lost data is almost impossible. Okay, so retrieving the data is almost impossible. So that's where be very careful when you actually go and delete the content. Ensure you're deleting it consciously. Work on the servers consciously. I see a lot of people actually work subconsciously. Like for an example, someone was asking -a option, right? So small a, capital A. He was saying like he was using small a because he was subconsciously being told or so referred to using a wrong option. So this happens around Linux very well. Okay, I'm telling you because I see so many people. I'm not sure. At least I was not taught Linux in that way. Maybe my trainer, whoever has teached me, okay, so teached me well, by the way, it seems. But yeah, so when you actually do the things consciously. The point is very much conscious. I see a lot of people actually execute it, and the reason why they execute is never known. Okay, but they execute that. And never bother about why they're executing it and watch each and every option. So someone told some options like so blah blah blah. And I see a lot of people actually give like ls-ltr. I ask so many people, what you tell me, what is that -l-t-r? There are a lot of failures will come into picture. Okay, so because they were told that way and they seen that and they thought that is the only way and they just came up with that way. So that's not the thing, right? So every option has certain importance in the command, by the way. And whether it is needed only, you should use it. If it is not needed, you shouldn't use it. Something like that. Okay. Just as an example, I'm talking about removing the file also is very important. You don't delete the file, no problem. Okay. Your job will not go away, but removing the file will take your job away. Okay. So be careful. So you're going to deal with the live machines. You have to be very, very careful. Okay. So today's world, backup and all is much matured world. That's okay. But still, conscious is the point. Be very much conscious before doing the work. That's the only thing I want to ask you is, or start practicing the consciousness around the Linux commands when you're executing it. So that's where removing a file is almost impossible to get it back. That's where don't delete the things unknowingly. Okay, if you know the impact, then only you do that. Don't do the impact. If you don't know the impact, don't do that. That's fine. Maybe you'll have some test machines. Go to some test machines, understand the commands, what you're executing, practice it, do some trial and error method, understand it. Okay, then you'll get some idea. Then you come back and apply on the real operation, on the real server. Here our servers are okay, lab, this is fine. But you know that, so like later when you actually go into the real world, you're going to see the real machines. Please don't unmute actually. Yeah. So that is where the point was, don't do the things a little bit subconsciously. Okay. So that is what is said. All right. Okay. Any questions on removing the files? I see already some questions on the chat. Again, the same questions are getting repeated. I'm not sure. So what is the difference between ls-A and small l? So ls-A is going to show you the hidden files, and ls-l is going to show you the detailed output of that particular file. And that is about it. And the next one is, what about the recovery command in Linux? So first of all, prevention is better than cure. Okay. Okay. So prevention is better than cure is a very important statement, by the way. You avoid doing it. So don't worry about after doing it. Okay. what is the impact. So recovery, like as I told, is almost impossible, right? So you'll be having some backups and all, you have to retrieve from there. Okay, it's very tricky part to retrieve as well. It's like I told, it's almost, so 99.99%, and you'll be unlucky in recovery. That 0.001% you will be lucky. Okay, and check the probability whether you'll be there or not. I'm not sure. So that's where prevention. Don't try to do that before. Okay, don't worry about the latter part. First of all, worry about the first part. Like, don't do the things. Don't remove the things when it is not necessary. And so should we add extension for every file? Like I told, extension is not mandatory. So that's where for every file you give it or you don't give it, is your comfort. Okay, so for Linux it is same, whether you give it or you don't give it, Linux is same, and you create it is only for your comfort. That is okay. And maybe a shift to delete. Okay, shift to delete may ask for yes or no. That's okay, that's fine. And another question I see, I think there are many ways of commands to create a file. Can you tell the remaining commands? No, the answer is no need, by the way. So there is no necessity of learning all the options of all the ways. You know one way and you're doing the job, which is fine. So no need to worry about it. I think also another command, by the way. So a cat command is also used to create a file, right? As I told, I clearly give the disclaimer, right? There's always a multiple ways of doing the things. You know, one way is fine. Okay, so that's what it is. And the next one is one more question. All right, so please don't put question at the end of every topic. Put at the end of the course. Maybe I'm not sure, Ramesh, but I wanted to drive the course in this manner only. I want to take the question each and every topic, because if topic to topic there is a connections, and if I don't do that, so people will not able to understand the next topic. For an example, you yourself take a scenario, you don't understand one topic, and based on that topic I'm bridging the next topic on top of that. So you have the previous topic confusion, the next topic is always a question mark to you. So maybe in the first week, maybe there'll be more intervals of taking the questions. Going to the next week, by the way, there won't be many intervals. Okay, the intervals will get reduced. The first week generally it is a Linux. A lot of people are new to that. Maybe you see a little bit, so a little bit time delay happening out there. But just please wait until couple of sessions, maybe 3-4 sessions. So it automatically, the intervals will get very much reduced. That's okay. Yes, Ranjit, who is this? Okay, all right. Anyone? Any questions on the touch command? Anyone want to? Ranjit.
Hi, Raghu.
Yeah.
Actually, I create a file using touch keyword. Before you said sample is the directory. Inside the sample, you created a node.txt file, right?
No, sample is a file. Node.txt is also a file.
Okay, at a time we create so many files.
So many files, yeah. Multiple files.
Using a single command.
Single command, yeah. So you can create. So touch command can create multiple files in a single command.
And I tried to remove whatever the file I created, but it's not asking like yes or no.
You're practicing in parallel?
Yeah. Simultaneously.
In Killer Coda?
Yeah, yes, Killer Coda.
In my lab, this one?
Sorry?
I mean, in the same lab only you're practicing or somewhere else?
Yeah, same lab.
I don't think so. Yeah, it will not happen. And also second thing is not only to you, by the way, it's an answer to everyone. Don't do the things while the session is going on. So focus on what I'm trying to do, and post the session only, you go for the practice. Okay, because like fundamentally the human brain may not work doing the two things at the same time, right? While you're focusing on what to type, you will miss the focus on what I'm telling. There's a gap will form. Just to avoid that, so please everyone, so please.
Actually, I'm new to Linux. That's why I'm
You're
taking.
new. That's fine, right? New means you have to be more cautious.
Okay.
So just you have to increase more focus, right? So you miss the dots. Can you watch two movies at the same time?
No.
Then how are you doing two things at here? It's also not possible. So your productivity will get increased only you do one thing at a time. Okay. So please keep that in. Okay. Not only to you, by the way, it's for everyone. Everyone has to follow the same thing. During the session, I'm following a greenfield approaches. That means like, everything I will be doing from the scratch. You have to focus on how I'm doing it. Logically, if you have any gap, you should ask me. I'll clear it out. And post the session, you go ahead with your practice. Anyhow, at the end of the session, I'll talk about how do you start doing the things, by the way. That's okay. But yeah, so to start with this.
Okay, thank you.
And yes, Ranjit. I'm not able to hear you, Ranjit, if you're talking. Durga. Durga, you have any question?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Raghu, so just now we showed in Windows OS like how to, delete a file or create a file. So can you show us in Linux OS, like if it's possible? Like you're showing it in Killer Code, right?
It is Linux only. Killer Code is just an interface.
Or like it's an operating system directly, so we can't go to Linux OS and like it's directly if you create here something.
It's OS.
Directly the file.
It's not a graphical OS. What you're referring is graphical. Okay. Our side, we don't use graphical things. We use command line. This is nothing but an operating system. Same like, so if the Windows, by the way, you got this command prompt, okay, no Windows, no mouse, nothing. You can also still deal with the Windows. You can work with
I'm just asking, like if you created some file name, say some sample file. So I just want to see where that file got created. That's what I'm asking.
Right. So here only, you're somewhere, you do ls, you're getting it right. So here only. Here, what is here, you don't know at this point of time. That's okay. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Last question, Krishna, go ahead.
Yeah, hi Raghu. So the commands which you are showing, is it only restricted to CentOS or any other Linux distros?
At this point of time, you're learning CentOS, so stick to CentOS. That's fine.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, hi Raghu. Yesterday you told like sign up for
topics, please. Maybe if it is not relative, please park this to end of the session.
Sure. Okay, Raghu. I'll ask at the end of the session. Thank you.
Yes.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you are using rm-f, remove the files. We have a lot of files. Have 20-30 files will be there. How to remove the all files at a time?
So you need to find out a pattern in doing it. Okay. So
like
later it will come, like, so if you follow the documentation later, some point there is something called as a regular expression. Okay. So somewhere over here, so CLI shortcuts is there and all directories explained. Somewhere over here, I just point to regular expression. So you go through that. Maybe that's being modified. Okay. Additional things to learn. These are regular expressions given. So if you're interested, so go through that topic. So that's an outside of context at this point of time.
Yeah. Is it possible at a time 100 files or 200 files at a time?
100% possible. You Linux, you name it, everything is possible.
Yeah, that's
Windows, you might see a limitation, but not.
Yeah, it's clear.
All right. So let's move on to the next one. So RM, very simple. RM command is going to be removing the file, whereas RM basically it will ask yes or no. So then no. Whereas if I give RM-f sample, it will never ask for yes or no. It is removing. Okay. So that's the learning. Let's move on to the next one. Now I want to copy a file. Okay. I want to copy a file, like as I mentioned. So okay, once again, so there are multiple ways of doing it. There's a CP command, there's an rsync command to copy the files. Okay. So and even there is one more, SCP also is there, but there are multiple ways. So let's talk about the fundamental basic command. So which you have is CP command and CP and the files, source file and the destination file. So that means CP nodes.txt, copy to pages.txt. So that means done ls -l. Now you see this nodes.txt is there, pages.txt is there. So pages.txt has been created. Okay, and all the content of nodes.txt will be copied into, so like Windows, right click copy, right click paste. All the content of that file will be pasted to the new file. Same thing, it's a command line, that's it. And there's one node, by the way, if the destination exists, it will override the file. If the destination exists, it will override the file. And sometimes if, it might ask you, so cp nodes.txt and then pages.txt, it might ask you if the file is also there. It might ask you yes or no. If you just give yes, it will proceed. So whenever at least there is a file, you'll be prompted with yes or no. You want to override that file. So then if you give yes, it will override once again. That's a very simple thing about CMake. Maybe copying from one location to another location. We'll talk about once we know about the location. Today, we're not ready to learn, or we don't know locations. That means directories and all, we don't know. So we're just talking about everything on the one location. That's fine. Understand? How do you copy a file, right? So this is about it. And the next one is how do you rename a file? So basically it's going to be a move a file. Renaming is nothing but literally in the behind the scene, it is moving a file. That means cut paste is happening. Now here mv nodes.txt rename to node.txt. Now that means like ls-l if you see. So nodes.txt earlier has been renamed as a node.txt. Has been renamed as node.txt. That's it. Now some important statements over here. Unlike Windows, Linux file system are case sensitive ones, meaning the file node.txt and capital node.txt can be referred as two different files in Windows. But in Windows, by the way, so the node.txt and node.txt are same files. Okay, that means if you just go here, maybe then go to somewhere here. So, drive users here. Maybe if I go to desktop. Now let me create a new file. Let's say note. And if I try to create one more file, new file, capital node.txt. Now it seems like, file names are different, right? But it will not allow you to do that. You want to rename. There's already a file with the same file name in this location. Capital node, small node. Small node is there. Capital node is not there, but still it is not allowing. So that is where, we will have the case sensitivity, okay, come into picture. In Linux, it is possible. Now touch node.txt, it is there. Now touch, give capital N only, remaining is small. It is possible. Okay, so you can see this. These are all different files in Linux. Windows, it is not possible. Windows is not possible. So that is how, okay, Windows is going to behave. Now, if I want to rename a file, mv, the file name, source file name, and the destination, and if the destination exists, then it will override. The same thing like a cp command. That's it. Very simple. Okay, all right. So that's about renaming the things. And I want to give you some shell shortcuts, by the way. Now you want to become a professional to deal with a command line prompt. You want to be more hands-on guy. Okay. You want to become a professional. You know about how to do shortcuts. Windows also, so you use Control-C, Control-V. Not every every time right click, copy, right click, paste. Right clicks. It's going to take some time. At least whoever is the senior Windows guys might be, at least of you. I think so you'll be always using Control-C, Control-V, right? So for faster way of doing the job. So even the text also, so when you copy the things from the browser or somewhere, you always use Control-C, Control-V. Okay, maybe you go to the Windows, Microsoft, maybe you're preparing a Word document or something like that. Shortcuts are going to make your life easy. Command line also, you have shortcuts. Okay, I have given one link, go through that link. So the essential top 10, so top 10 shortcuts, the one must should know. So go through that. and you will get a fair understanding about the shortcuts. And if you want more, there are more. Type in internet, so what are the Linux command line shortcuts? You type it, you get the shortcuts. Maybe you can practice them, understand them, implement every day, whether you need it or you don't need it, start implementing them, start using them. Then you'll get used to that. Okay. So maybe make a note on the paper. So keep it beside your laptop. What are the shortcuts that you want to use every day? Okay. So while you do the practice, so use those shortcuts. Maybe in a week or 2 weeks, you get used to them. Okay. And you'll start using it automatically in order to recall or refer a document as well. But shortcuts are important if you want to work a little bit more like a pro. Okay. So that would be, so the renaming the files. Any questions on this copy and rename?
Hey Raghu, this is Karthik here.
You need to raise your hand. Yeah, because other people will be there in the queue. Okay. So I'll call you. Yes, Srinivas.
Can you just show if the copied file is really present in pages text that notes? Node.txt is being copied right? I just want to know if it's being copied into pages text means what we need to do.
If it needs to copy, sorry.
See, cp nodes.txt means that nodes.txt has been copied to pages txt. I just want to know if it is copied or not.
ls command, right?
Oh yeah, list. We need to go into pages and we just need to list.
Yeah. So cp after doing this, earlier before to that, nodes is there, pages is not there. After executing cp, I'm doing ls. ls is showing the pages.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, Karthik, go ahead.
Yes, Raghu. So is it possible to copy multiple files?
Yes, it is possible, but the destination can be only one, right? The destination is a directory. You can copy multiple files. The destination is a directory, file, by the way. You cannot do that. So it's going to be 1:1 ratio.
So let's say I have a set of files in one directory, like 10 to 15 files.
That comes after directory section. That is possible, but after learning a topic about directory, at this point of time, it's only files, right? So it is 1:1.
Got it. Yeah. Thank you.
Yes, Vasa.
Hi, Raghu. Good morning. Like what we see in the Windows, like recycle bin, what we have all the deleted files, or so is it the same in the Linux? We have like all the deleted files, or moving if like where it is being stored.
No,
if
you don't
want
have
to recover
deletion.
again.
Deletion is a deletion. That's it.
Okay, so there is nothing recover, like we can't recover the files, or we can't.
Yeah.
Okay. So can we keep any restrictions before we delete or something like that? We can have that option.
So the permission section is there. Like unwanted users maybe you can restrict.
Okay.
But it's not like 100% you cannot restrict, right? So whoever can, someone can at least somewhere. Okay. Yes, Swapna.
Hi Raghu, good morning. Can we list the file sizes with ascending and descending order?
Yeah, you can. ls has options.
ls, with the help of ls, we cannot.
We cannot.
Can you show me how can we ascending this file sizes?
ls sort files by size. That's it.
Okay.
Got the answer. So you have the files, you have size, sort the size with L. You have options.
Okay. And ls rm-f is one option when one command we are having, right? What is the f means?
Yes, sir.
F means force.
Force, right?
So that means like, so you, that means like, so you will not be prompted yes or no forcefully.
Okay, thank you.
And Shweta, go ahead.
Yeah, hi Raghu. Here, while we are copying the, notes txt to pages txt, right? The contents are getting copied to pages txt, or it will be overriding the similar lines of that file, or how it is?
No, the full file. Windows also it's full file. Right? Will it happen some lines? No, right? Windows, you copy a file, you paste a file, all the lines will be pasted or only half lines? You copy a movie, half movie will be copied or full movie?
Yeah. Is there a chance of overriding the similar lines of that first file?
No, it's illogical, right? So it's not.
Okay. Yeah. Is there a command like to copy only contents to notes, contents to pages, contents only for a limited lines?
So that's an operation is a different thing. So in Windows, how do you do that? You tell me. Linux, I'll tell you.
We only add whatever the required lines for the pages.
That's okay. How do you do that in Windows?
We only copy actually. Don't know how to do.
Tell me the full operation. You're telling right only, but tell the full operation.
Only limited file.
I have a file and you want to copy some of those lines of one file to another file. How do you do that?
I ideally copy the required files only, and opening the file and copy the limited lines and just paste it to the another file.
You're copying the file, no, right? Your operation is completely changing. Now what you're doing, you're opening an editor. You're opening the file. That means an editor is coming into picture and the editor is giving you the content. Now you can copy the content. So now here also, once you get onto the editor section, okay, when we talk about the editor, so that operation is possible. Now you're dealing with the outbox of the file, not internals of the file, right? So there's a difference. So just copying the file. So 100% will get copied. Windows also it is same, no difference.
Okay. This copy command only persists to the within a directory, right? Only within a particular directory and particular disk. If you want to copy to another.
For today, yes. For tomorrow after some topics, answer is no. Copy can copy anywhere. So today we just started and we know only one place and we're dealing with one place.
Yeah, only within a directory these commands are.
No. Your understanding is wrong once again. So today we talked about only one place and the commands you're seeing is happening in only in one place. Tomorrow, maybe or day after tomorrow, when we actually get onto the directory section. So we'll talk about different locations. Now the copy command, you can extend it to different locations. Not only the copy command, the RM command, remove the file of some other file also, some other location also. You can do that. Create a file in some other location. You can do that. But you should know about it. And that knowing will come into tomorrow.
Yeah, thank you. That's what it is. Yeah.
Okay. So even the topics wise, I'm good actually. So this is what is the expectation for today. So tomorrow we're going to talk about the directory structure and we'll proceed from there. And yeah, I see some couple of questions on the chat. Let me answer them. So whoever keeps the question in the chat, type the full question and chat it. Okay, keep it. Otherwise, please unmute and talk only because you keep bits and pieces. I don't know, right? So I cannot read multiple messages because a lot of people are messaging. It goes bits and pieces. Like it doesn't make sense. So please, whoever is messaging, so type the full message and then only you hit enter. And I see that some question. Yes, one thing, if we don't provide extension for files, will it impact the search and the time taken? I think I already answered that is no. maybe answered over the chat. So the next question is, instead of touch, can we use mkdir? That answer is also no, you cannot do that. And can we use path where the files, where these files are created? Like as I told, we'll talk about the paths and directories maybe in tomorrow. You will understand where these are getting created really. And so create a file in local desktop. Is it possible to calling the file in KC? What is that KC? I don't know. The question is a correct or wrong. If you can tell me what is that KC, it makes something to me. And the next question is, while renaming, what name should be given first? So that means like, you have to give source and the destination, which are the file you want to rename. So that file name you have to give first, and what is the target name. So that is how you have to give. And mv command is used to renaming / moving a file. So how is it differs? Tomorrow you'll understand. And copy certain content, I think I already answered. So, so can you give the scope of the project? So we'll talk about that. Scope of the project I already told, by the way. So we are going to take up a project from the IBM, and we are going to use that particular project. That project is going to have 11 microservices. So we are going to set up on the 11 servers, and we're going to start from there. By the way, we're going to have a lot of problems. We'll solve one by one problem in the training. So the next one is there any recycle bin? I think answer is no. We already answered that. And will you demonstrate the partial content of the file copy in Linux? As I told, is an editor job. And after editor, you will only be able to do that. Okay. So which is fine. All right. I think we parked for some questions at the ending. So whoever has any other questions, please. Yes, Malika.
Am I audible?
Yeah.
Yeah. So here we are using CLI, and in Windows mostly we use GUI, right? So is there any specific advantage of using CLI?
You want to work as a professional, welcome to command line. That's it. Now, if I ask you one operation, you tell me, okay, if there are 100 files and each file I want to make 10 changes, how do you do in Windows? I have 100 files.
Okay.
And I want to do 10 changes in each file. How do you do that? Just a bare example. How much time you take it?
Yeah, I have to take each file and then modify it. So it will take time.
So maybe 30 seconds on an average, you are super fast, maybe, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that means how much time you're taking? 50 minutes. Okay, Linux,
Right.
come here, you just execute in 1 or 2 minutes. So that's the power. So for professional, command line is the more beneficial, by the way.
Okay.
So that's the context. And servers are mostly for professionals, right? So, and that's the thing.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
And Akhilesh, go ahead.
Yeah, my question is why only Linux is for server side and why not Windows? And what are the advantages by using Linux for server side and for hosting the applications?
So just now only we gave the answer, right? So now I tell you, okay, you use a Windows server. You tell me like, so 100 files, each file 10 times you want 10 modifications you want to do and 10 different lines. Each file is having maybe 10,000 lines. 10 modifications you need to modify. So will you like Windows?
No, we have to do it manually in Windows.
Then you got the answer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got it.
I'm telling you, like Windows is a very hard operating system. You've been using and feeling that is the easiest operating system. You have been a wrong feeling. You're just in a wrong feeling. You're feeling wrong. That's it. Okay. So Linux is more powerful.
No, I just want to know some examples at a higher level.
Just gave you one example. Just gave you one example, right?
No, I don't know the examples. I want to know the examples at a higher level where Linux is more powerful than Windows.
Just as an example I gave you, right? So
yeah.
So that automatically, are you not convinced that, is it not powerful?
Yeah, I was convinced actually. Yeah.
Then what is your next question then?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So everywhere it is going to be the same thing. So when you have bunch of things, by the way, to do, command line utilities are much powerful, okay, than your UI utilities. UI is going to be a little bit lazy, okay? They will not happen very well. So that's where it is.
Yeah, got it.
Yes, Sriram.
Yeah, can you please tell me the difference between a Linux file system and a Windows file system?
So it's
At
file
least in
system,
one
right?
point.
It's a different programs. When you want to
Okay.
make a layout, okay, so different file systems following their own different standards.
Okay.
It's a two different programs or two different softwares. So doing the same job.
If we want to differentiate, means how can we say in one point?
No, there is, you cannot say that way. Like there may be technical differences, right? So, but end of the day, like those are just two file systems, allow you to store the files. Maybe somewhere the technical limitations comes into picture is maybe NTFS file, Windows file system may not allow you to create more than 10 terabyte file, just as an example. Okay. Maybe a Linux allow system maybe allow you to create a petabytes of files also.
Okay.
Just as an example, there are technical things come into picture. Maybe one file system it is slow, one file system it is faster. Okay. One file system allows you to create the files in lower cases. Another file system allow you to create only one case like Windows is doing. Technical things. Otherwise, those are just two softwares.
Okay, two different ways.
Those are just softwares.
Okay. Thank you.
And one last thing, maybe I'm just a little bit extending. Just one last thing, by the way, I want every one of you to start, follow certain things while you attend my session, by the way. So the first thing, which I think in between, I already told you, you need to focus on the session. While the session is going on, please do not do the things in parallel, because that will eventually, you will miss the focus. Okay. You'll miss the points. Since you miss the point, okay, you always have a gap, by the way. So focusingly, okay, listen each and every word what I'm saying. And if there is any gap, so raise your concern, get a clarity. Okay. And then, okay, the next topics will be easier for you. But if you do the things in parallel, so we'll not be able to manage it well. Okay. That's where I don't suggest to do the things in parallel. Okay. Please don't do that. Second thing is, okay, now the biggest question is, hey, Raghu, will you provide notes or something like that? Okay. The answer is no, because, okay, I'm going to give you one practice, by the way. So I have given one video in the link. The sites link also, I'll just update after the session. So here in this link, it is updated. So there is a video, so which is going to tell you, how to write your own notes. Write your own notes. If I give my own notes, okay, I write in my own words, I get my context. If I read it, I'll understand. Maybe you reading it, certain context will be missed generally. Okay, that is what our previous observation. We tried it, by the way, but it didn't really work out. So this is what the suggestion I always tell to everyone, and this really gives a good results. Okay, trust us on that. Now what you need to do is, so this video is explaining, how do you make the notes and what is the best notes making tools which are available. So pick up the tools. So one of the tool is Notion, is what our suggestion. Okay. So there's a template also given to you. Okay. Follow that particular template. And okay. So you can just try to watch the video and try to make the notes. Okay. So, and then you will be able to, refer your own notes in a better way. Rather than I wrote the notes, I make it in one context, or you take other people's notes and everyone have their own style. Okay. You really no need to align to my style, by the way, in terms of noting, because this is going to be really helpful in the future references, right? So that's where I would suggest you to, so pick your own way of writing the notes, whatever the way you like it. Maybe you spend some time. So the 1 hour you spend today to writing the note is going to bring a long-term results. okay, by end of the training, okay, that brings a lot of results. Tomorrow, whenever you want to immediately pull down a particular topic, you would clearly know that, what is, which one you will be referring. Okay. So that is how. So please follow this particular video. The sites also will update it. It is in progress. It's not done yet. So I'll do it. Okay. So just follow that particular video, or else I'll also give that particular video right away on the chart also. Please. I'm not sure to everyone. Yeah. So I just pinged that particular video as well. You go through that whenever at least sometime. So try to follow that particular one. If you have anything great in your mind or good thing in your mind, please go ahead with that. I don't stop you, but at least I'm telling with my experience, with my training, you try to do this, it might bring results. Okay. If you feel like anything else is better, please go ahead and follow that. Okay. I don't stop you. It's your thing and it's your notes, your style. I think it's great. It's up to you. Okay. I don't block you anything on that. Okay. All right. I think that's all would be from my side for today. I see one more rising hand. Yes, Wakati, go ahead.
Hello, Rogi. Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, actually, I said I'm parallelly going through my master's classes at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
You said there will be a doubt clarifying session, the chat session.
Mm-hmm.
So where could I get the access for
You
that?
You'll slowly onboard it. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
I thought it was started.
It's not started yet. For Linux, it's necessarily not needed. It's just a piece of commands. So
yeah, thank you, Ravi.
Yeah. Anyone? Any other questions? Final call. Yes, Tarun.
Hello, Raghu. Good morning.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes, Tarun, go ahead.
Yeah, sure. See, with this Linux and everything, I'm new to this environment and everything. So I got you what you're trying to explain today. You're trying to explain the concepts along with the you're trying to explain the concepts and Linux commands. So even with the practice, we need to do the same in the killer coda. We open the killer coda and practice each and every. So example, after doing it 1 week of course, something like that, there are hundreds of commands over here. So we can't remember each and every command. So if required, we might use while working in the real time. If I don't remember any command, I can use Google to get rid of that, that command and use it in my daily work life, right?
You can, yes, of course.
Yeah, so I'm a bit new, so I'm trying to get a clarity. So don't take in me in another way.
No. You're absolutely right, actually.
Yeah,
so
sure.
That way.
That's it from my side. Thanks for answering my query.
Anyone? Any other questions? I see one more hand. Yes, Prashant. And one more thing. So whoever is done, we're done with the session. Please feel free to drop if you have anything. If you don't have anything, please feel free to drop. We're done with my points. Okay. That's also okay. Yeah. Just go ahead, Prashant.
Hey, Raghu. Good morning.
Yeah.
Hello.
Go ahead, Prashant.
The playground like which we are coming across in Killer Code, is it yours, right? So can we also access the same?
Yeah, you can access the same.
Yeah, okay.
It's public. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Anyone? Any other questions? Go ahead, Durga.
Hey Raghu, I think I may be a bit advanced, but I just want to know, so what we use in real time to execute this Linux commands.
So some or other way, some interface. Okay, what do you use in real time to open a google.com? And just as an example.
No, I'm just asking. So here we are doing it through Killer Coda. You said 3 options we can practice the Linux. One is installing virtual machines in your computer or through cloud or through Killer Coda, right? So what practice we use in real time? That's what I'm asking.
We'll go with our own servers. See, because the context of Killer Coda is on the day one, if I talk about so many things, Your
No,
goal is
that's what I said. Like I'm asking a bit advanced questions. So I just want to know that's it. Yeah.
yeah. So the context out there is on the day one, I don't see our goal is to what? Learn Linux. Now,
Yeah.
how do we get the Linux doesn't really matter, right? So Killer Code is giving
Yes.
a simple option. So we're using that. But later, maybe after 2 days, we'll talk about the reality. How we use.
Yeah, got it.
Yeah, how we actually create our own servers and how to deal with our own servers. We'll talk about. Yeah.
Okay, Raghu. Yeah, thank you. That's it.
Yeah. And Srinivas.
Hello. Hi, Raghu.
Yes.
This is regarding AWS I now. So we need to create a free plan. Like there are multiple plans available, right? So do we need to create like we need to take a free plan?
Yeah, every account is going to be a free account only if you're signing up. There is no multiple accounts like that. Every account is a free account. So this process is 100% same. Even in the organization also, if I sign it up, it's 100% same, no difference. They
Okay.
start with a free account. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Yes, Vamsi.
Yeah, hi Raghu, good morning.
Yeah.
Raghu, at the starting class, you mentioned like if you want to know the username -a, you mentioned that one command like etc password. You're using, can you elaborate the thing about the password in order to keep that password? I'm not getting it.
Did I told today etc password?
I don't remember so, but you were doing everything with Ash from that is the root user. I just got stuck there actually.
No, I think.
Actually,
There is
at
nothing
the
like that.
starting class, you mentioned like starting username -a.
Uname. It's like uname command.
Yeah, uname, sorry.
Yeah, uname will tell what Linux it is.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think you executed one etc password. I don't remember exactly.
I haven't actually.
I'm ready. Sure.
Yeah, recheck once again. We will get the video.
Sure.
Please.
Yeah, I'm running. Currently, I'm running my notes. Parallelly, I'm running. Executing.
Yeah.
So, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, hi Raghu. Good morning.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, currently I'm using in my personal laptop. I have Ubuntu. Then, do you have any other? I mean, you told that to download CentOS, right?
No, I didn't told anything like that.
I mean, it will be good to use CentOS. You said, right?
No, we are using CentOS, but on Killer Code, I never told anything to download, install like that. Nothing.
Yeah. If we want to install CentOS, can I? What is the? I mean, how to install it? Will you say?
Why? But why?
No need, yeah, right? But for
Yeah.
entire thing, I mean, for entire thing, we can use in Killer Code.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For 1 or 2 days.
Okay.
Killer Code. After that, we'll get with our own Amazon.
Yeah. That's my question, right? Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Anyone? Any other questions?
Raghu, this is Mallika. So AWS account, is it lifetime free account or do we have 30 days free trial, something like that?
Yeah, you will get some limit. You'll get very basic free, by the way. So the free is not free everything. Okay. So, and again, like free limits, we never get into the free limits only. So we always might get a bill around $10 on an average per month for this training. Yeah.
Okay.
So we go beyond free limits. We're doing a big project, so we don't fit under the free limits.
Okay. So I just want to ask why, because I mean, if we create today, if there is 30 days free trial, something like that, we'll be losing the days, right? So just want to check on that. Yeah.
No. Every month you have to pay the bill.
Okay. Thank you.
Hi Raghu. One more question. Sorry. I had a AWS account previously. It gives only 1 year free, right? Can I use that account or should I create another account?
No, free is not free. That's what I'm telling. Free is never free.
Okay.
Free is a fancy word.
Yeah. I mean, I can use the previous account, right?
Yeah. Free to use.
Okay. That's all. Yeah. Thank you.
All right. So just to start with, or recall like what we have done so far, we were actually trying to talk about a couple of commands. ls command. In ls command, we had talked about ls-l to give a list of output in like, so in a detailed output. By the way, ls-A is going to show us the hidden files. So these are the options that we have seen, but ls is a command to list the files. And so touch command to create a file. Okay, touch, you can create a file. rm-f to remove a file. So cp command to copy the file, and mv command, you give the old file name to the new file name. Okay, it's going to rename the file. So until here we have discussed in our last session, right? So let's proceed with the next one. All right, so the next one is let's go with this. So here it is asking for Google. So the next one which we are going to talk about here is directory structure. So let's compare our, you already know, most of you might have already, okay, so seen at least the bare minimum structure of the Windows, maybe not in bit in detail, right? So in detail, there are so many things. So however, you're not worrying about so many things in Windows, in Linux also, you don't need to really worry about so many things which is happening around there. Okay, so at least to start with, so your Windows is going to have like this, your My Computer, inside there are some drives like A drive, okay, for floppies, by the way. So generally, like we used to have floppy drives back in days, those are reserved, like A and B are reserved for floppy drives. And whereas now, so starting from C drive, D drive, E drive, maybe a single hard disk or multiple hard disks, it is being partitioned that way. And you have some, so hard, like CD, DVD, like something like this. So C drive is essentially like, so the major drive that we consider on the Windows. And inside that, you're going to have, a lot many directories. Okay. The same way, so here, the C drive comparable, the C drive where it is starting in Windows, it is a comparable one is /. In Linux, we're having something called as a /, which is called as a root directory. The name is root. What is this root, by the way? Root is just an English word. So a root of a tree, so starts with a tree starts with a root, right? So that means a tree is starting with a root. If a root is coming into picture, then only the tree will come, right? So it's as simple as that. The root is there. So here also you're having a /, which is a root. And we're calling it as root. So here we call it as a /. A // will be there. And inside that, you're going to have multiple directories inside that. You're going to have multiple directories inside that. So for an example, you're having maybe, okay, so maybe it is just an internet diagram pointed. So maybe let's say your home directory has been kept in, your home directories can be configured to some other drive, or maybe C drive. You can also have something like, so users will be there. Okay, in today's world, by the way, you're having users, and that particular, so that particular users also, you can, point to this particular home directory, just as an example. Okay, now all your programs will get installed. Okay, all your programs will get installed in your, so program files maybe. Okay, those get splitted into, multiple places in Linux, by the way. So you have somewhere the configuration files goes into etc. Okay, so for an example, if I just go with the Windows environment, let me bring the Windows environment. I want to show you that. Okay. Now here you're having the program files. So maybe Now here, if I go with some software, which is maybe a media player, now it is telling that, so you're having all the related things like exe files are having here, maybe some configuration files also is actually here only, like, so maybe some DLL files, library files. And so some of the configurations, like, so what are the visualizations you have, or maybe like, what are the icons you have? These are all empty, by the way, but still skins you're having. Okay, so some sort of skin. All these particular things is available. All this software is actually available in one place. Is actually keeping in one place, but Linux will not do that. Linux will not do that. So Linux is going to, Linux is actually going to, so segregate those particular things in multiple places. Like, your, what do we say? So ls/ if I do, or ls-ls/. So you can see this, there are so many things you are having. Now, if any OS related things are having, it keeps in boot files. If any, let's say you are installing any program, like let's say something like a media player or something like that, so you'll have some configuration like skin and all goes to etc. Okay, exe files and all goes to, so bin and all, okay, it goes to here. If you have any DLL files here, we call it as libraries. There also it is libraries only, goes to into lib. Okay, so like this, it is going to have so many locations actually. Now it is, so I mean, Windows is designed, all the software level, so sits in one folder. Now Linux is designed in such a way that, so it is structuring from the OS perspective. Now every tool has to align that way. Okay, so Windows is telling that, you can you create one folder, and Windows is suggesting to the tool creators, saying that, you keep it, there's a program files we're keeping, and over there you keep all the, so things in one folder. So that's what Windows is suggesting to the tool makers. But coming to the Linux, by the way, Linux is telling that no, if you have any, executables, keep it in bin file. If you have any libraries, keep it in lib. If you have any configurations, keep it in etc. And if you have something, use somewhere. Okay, so that's what is OS is suggesting, and these guys will go and install that in those particular locations. So that is how it is going to be. But however it is, you're having so many directories for different purposes. Okay, so you necessarily no need to remember or understand everything, but that's okay. But having an understanding is also a good thing. So to understand, so I have given one link, so maybe take some time. So maybe a 15-20 minute time, and you can read this a particular one, understand. Okay, there might be something, and for this, like Linux guys has created some separate directory. Okay, things like that. Okay, so whatever it is, so this is what it is. And in Windows, you are going to use / for referring the things. Okay, if I open command prompt, so you're going to have a / as it is here, and Linux is going to have /. It starts with /, and all the things will be going inside /. If I want to go inside, for an example, like let's say /home /user /something. Okay, so then I have to go with how do I represent that is, so /home /user. If I want to represent a music thing, I want to, so something like /. Okay. So this is how you represent the path. Now, in Windows, how do you represent the paths? So for an example, I go here, so it's all /. So this is the path. So this is the path. So C drive / program file // Windows Media Skins. This is the path you're representing. So Linux, you're going to represent with /. Okay, so that is the idea, and those are the basic things, okay, that you need to understand about the folder structure comparison in Windows versus Linux. Okay, so let's get with the basic commands. So then you'll little get more context, by the way. So then I'll go to here. So if you want to know that, yesterday I was talking about, you are in some place, you don't know where are you, by the way, right? You are in some place. And if you really want to know that particular place or wherever you are in, if you want to know about which location you are in, the first command which is going to help us here is pwd. The pwd is actually telling you are under slash. Slash is the root directory we talked about. And inside that there is a ROOT, another folder name called as ROOT. And it is creating or you are in that particular location. Okay. ROOT is nothing but a administrator in Windows again, administrator in Linux again. Okay. Administrator in Linux is ROOT. Okay. Administrator in Windows is administrator only, right? You get an administrator. Okay. Administrator user, by the way. Maybe if I can just go to the command line. What is that? Netspace user. Yeah, Netspace user is going to tell us the list of users inside the system. There are 2 users inside the system. One is administrator and the other one is Eskaluru, so my username. But there is an administrator user. Okay. So here also the administrator is root. ROOT root username is different. ROOT root directory is different. Okay. Root directory is slash. Root user is ROOT. Okay. So this nomenclature, you will get used to that in few days while you get used to this particular operating system. It's the only thing little bit, it's a little bit tricky to understand. Just takes little time for you. But root directory means you're denoting directories. Root user means you're denoting the administrator. Okay, don't confuse with that. If I say root directory, then that is slash. If I say root user, then that is an administrator user. Username is root. Okay, so yeah, whatever it is. So here pwd is going to tell you which location you are in. Okay, it's just showing you are in this particular path. And to navigate from one location to another location, so you're going to use a cd. Okay, cd is a command. You're going to help you with navigating with one location to another location. Okay, so now cd. Okay, so cd/bin. So cd/bin. So I'm telling that under slash, there's a bin location. I want to go inside there. So now give pwd. So you are under /bin. Okay, or cd/pwd, you are under slash. Or cd/bin, pwd, you are under this. cd/root, pwd, you are under root. So that means cd command will help you with navigating to any location. Okay, so from one location to another location by using the cd command. If you know the path, you can do that. If you don't know the path, I don't know the path. In Windows, like let's say, if I start here, maybe C drive, I don't know anything. So what you can do, you can open this folder, you see something, okay, then I have to go to Windows. Okay, I see so many things. Maybe I have to go inside something, Windows, maybe System 32. Okay, another thing. Okay, so here I see so many things. Maybe I wanted to go with something like etc drivers, something. Okay, so there is something like, so there are different things again. Okay, so maybe I can just go with etc. Okay, I am in this particular path. Now by seeing the path, I don't remember this, seriously. I don't remember this path, but by seeing the words, I recalled, okay, I have to go here, I have to go here. So generally that happens, right? So even here also, Linux also, you can do the same thing. I can go to cd/ where it is already starting, do ls, and you understand so where you want to go with. So for an example, I want to go with maybe, okay, I want to go with maybe something called as a var. So let's go with var, okay, ls. Now you do ls, you see the list of things. Windows is showing automatically. Here extra you do is ls. Okay, now you do ls, then you can see this. Okay, so something is there. Okay, now I wanted to go with var cache. Okay, so now ls, again I want to see this. Okay, I want to go with private. Okay, I go to the private and you are in that particular location. Now here you do some job, just as an example I'm talking about. Okay, so likewise, however you do in the Windows, Linux also you can do the same thing, but just by executing the commands. Okay. So that's about, so you understand where are you by using pwd command, and cd command, you can navigate from one location to another location. Now, if you strongly remember the path, by the way, for an example, I remember this path for an example. So /etc systemd system. Now the full path you can change in one shot. No problem. You can do that. So cd full path you can change. All right. So this is how you can navigate from one location to another location by using cd command. And if you want to know which location you are in, you can check that by using pwd command is going to help you with that. Okay, so just to start with, there are more options to the cd command, but just to start with, if there are any questions around this, so please let me know. I see a couple of questions on the chat already. And if you have any questions, please do raise your hand. So same thing. Every day we do the same thing. I see a couple of questions on the chat. So these are all saying that is noise coming. I think mostly those are your side problems. So please check it out. I have a doubt. Clear command not working properly. So in this clear coda, clear is not working. So clear. Okay, clear is not there. So you can also use a shortcut, by the way. So clear is a third-party command. So but clear to the screen, the clear is additional thing, which is necessarily not needed. So there is something called as Control L. Yesterday, I gave you some shortcuts, right? I suggested like everyone to go with the top 10 shortcuts. Now to improve your productivity. Okay. So out of that, so Control L will be there. So the tab is one, Control C, this one, Control L. So the shortcut equivalent to clear command. Okay. So you can use this Control L to clear your screen. All right. Yeah. And how to change the host name out of context question at this point of time? Don't worry. So maybe later we'll get it. Okay. So maybe sometime next week, I'll talk about this particular topic. And PWD is equal to dir in Windows. No, dir is nothing but ls command in Windows. Okay. So that's what it is. Now, some guy is actually asking one good observation, by the way, he made it. Now I have given cd/var. Okay, enter. Now that ending slash is coming into picture. Okay, so he observed that and he's asking, okay, so why are you using slash, or is it compulsory? Yeah. Now, if you get little dig in detail, by the way, let's get little digging into detail in Linux. Now, every directory is represented with some character. Every file in Linux, everything is a file, including your directories. Including directories, Linux, everything is a file. Now, if you want to know that, so what type of file it is, okay, or Linux actually what it is doing is it actually have some sort of meta information to it. It adds some meta information to that, so saying that, so what type it is, okay. So by using, I think ls-F, by the way, if you go with, hey, ls, show me the full of that particular file. Full thing of that file. Don't mask anything. So in Windows, maybe, so what we did yesterday, we went to some properties and we asked like, so show me the extensions. Okay. So show me the file extensions, and then that's where it is showing the file extension. So that means you're asking something. Okay. So here somewhere hide extensions of the full types. Now this .txt is gone. Now we are particularly asking, okay, can you show me? And it is showing the reality. The same way Linux also, like each and everything is a file in Linux, including directories. Now, if we ask, by the way, hey, can you tell me what is it real? Okay, show me the real guy of that. It will not show by default. Okay, we can ask ls command with exclusively with -F. So it will tell that, the directory is actually, though it shows maybe, where is where, but actually it is var/. When you create any directory also, it is going to create with slash at the ending to represent that is a directory. So now that's all becomes optional, whether you use it or you don't use it, it will work, by the way. Okay, so yeah, that's where that slash is not mandatory. So without that, the things will work. But however, okay, so okay, so if you are, or however, you don't really need to specify every time, but in the behind the scene, this is the reality. Okay, so that's how it is going to be. Okay, at the rate means something. So there are so many things out there. Okay, forget about at this point of time. If you are interested, really interested about the Linux in detail, by the way, I would suggest you to take something like, so 7 types of files in Linux. Okay. I would suggest you to read about this. Okay. Different types of files in Linux. Okay. So just try to read about it. Maybe if you have, after that also, if you have any question, come back to me. I will help you with that. Okay. At this point of time. So let's keep it outside. So someone asked slash, okay, because this is a bit relative, I wanted to talk about that. So when you actually use cd/var, and automatically that slash is getting filled because I'm using some shortcut. Okay, otherwise it is not going to come. So if I'm using some shortcut, so that's where it is coming. So that slash ending is not mandatory. Okay, so that's about it. Yes, Ayo, go ahead. What is your question?
Yeah, thank you. I'm wondering, you said if you're looking for a file, you can use cd/, which represent the root. So what if you create the file? Will you be able to find it in that root as well?
If you have files, yes, you will find it out. So cd/ls, for an example,
Yeah, I thought, okay, good. Right.
Do ls, you'll see the sample. In that particular path, what all the files is there, it will show you that.
Okay. So I was thinking you can use the, let's say you're looking, you know the name of the file you're looking for, but you don't know where it's located. How could you find that?
So there is a find command which will come in later point of time. So that will help you in finding out the files if you don't know the path at all.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anyone? Any other questions? Right. Great. So the next one is yes, Mahendra. Yes, go ahead.
Like you think like any pic or any video inside the one file, how to open that?
Opening, we're not there yet, right? So we're just talking about the out file, out structures only. We'll go inside later.
Okay.
Yes, Ganesh.
Yeah, Raghu. If we provide directory after /, it will give a whole path, right? Let's say cd home / home /, it will give the home's full path, right? If we give before the directory, so it will say only that particular like inside what directories it will be shown, right?
I did not really got what you're saying.
Let's type that cd home, then /. If you hit enter, then if you check for pwd, so it will yeah. If you so cd then if you hit / and / and go for home.
You're already in home only, right?
Okay. Yeah, before I seen that, so that's why I'm asking. So if you give directory after /, it's showing all the the path of home. So where it is located, it is showing full path. So if we give the / before directory, So it is showing what inside that directory.
Inside the directory never shows unless until you type ls command.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, but PD shows only that home directory.
Wherever you are in, PWD will show the path.
Yeah. I have seen before, so that's why I asked.
Yeah.
Raghu, hi.
Yeah.
Raghu, like whatever the files we save or download any software, everything will be saved in that 7 directories which you showed, or we can create one new folder and we can download there also.
You can create your own. It's as simple as Windows. Like I'm just showing which is already existing.
Okay. It is like that 7 directories or files are like default.
7 types, by the way, not
Okay.
7 types of files are there. So you know only so far 2 things. One is yesterday file and today directory. There are 2 types of. There are 5 more types which are there.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
So please lower your hands if you're done. And so the next one is going to be so a couple of things which is going to be really helpful things around the command line, by the way. So one is ... and another one is dot, by the way. One is ... another one is dot. Denotes represents the parent directory, and dot denotes current working directory. Dot denotes parent directory. So for an example, if I go to cd/m, so I'm in this location. Now if I give cd ... okay, I want to go to my parent. I'm telling that I want to go to my parent. Okay, then you are here. So init. So cd ... then which is your parent / you're there. So like this, you can go one directory before by using cd ... If I'm not wrong, Windows also having the same thing. So cd ... if you give. So previously I was in this location. Now it took me to there. cd ... it took me there. PW is not there, sorry. So it's just showing representing, and cd ... nothing will happen. You'll be there only. So here also / you're having. Okay, cd ... nothing will happen. You'll be there only. That's the last part. There is nothing else to go anywhere before. So there's nothing, it will happen. Okay. So like this, so ... is not only to the cd command. You can use it to any place, by the way. Okay, you can use it to anything. For an example, if I just want to copy this file now, so cp, copy this file. Now previously you're copying in the same location. Now if you give ... means where you are copying. To your parent directory you're copying. Who is your parent? So / is your parent. Go to your / and do ls. You'll find out the anaconda.ks.cfg is being copied here. Now the ... denotes parent directory. So which command you use, it doesn't really matter. So here's only for a representation purpose. We're talking about some example cd command. That's it. That doesn't mean only the cd command can use ... No, it's just a Linux thing. Okay. ... denotes your parent directory. And dot denotes current directory. Dot denotes current directory. Okay. So that's how it is. And you're currently in PWD. And whenever you want to go to your home directory, so every user will have their home directory. You logged in as a root user, which is an administrator. As an administrator, you have a particular home directory. So if you want to go to your home directory, so simply give cd enter. Wherever you are in doesn't really matter. It automatically brings to your home directory. So this is your home directory. So that is a context. Okay. So this is also another helpful command. Just cd enter is also fine. So cd ... means your parent directory will take. Now, whereas a single dot is also there. Single dot is present working directory. Single dot denotes present working directory. So that means what is my present working directory? This one, PWD. Now I want to copy cp/etc some file. I'll take it up. So password, some dummy file, whatever the file is, doesn't really matter, some file. And if I'm giving dot, that means it is going to copy in this location. Dot means in this location. Okay, you see this? The file is. Now, rather than giving the full file name, which is password, okay. So now what I did is I simply took so dot, then it just copies in this location in the same file name. Okay. So that is what is a single dot denotes. Dot denotes current working directory. I'm just giving a demonstration with the cp command. That doesn't mean that it works only with the cp command. Any command doesn't really matter. Maybe if you can use cd dot means you are on the same directory only. So you're asking to go into your present working directory, and there's no impact, right? You'll be there only, isn't it? So that's about dot and dots. So these two are very important. It helps you in so doing your work in a better way. That's the idea. Okay, clear? Any questions on this? So what is the difference between root directory and home directory? So home directory is nothing but a user directory. Okay, user home directory. And whereas root directory is nothing but forward slash. Forward slash is nothing but root directory. Yeah.
Actually, the CD two dots will take us back to the parent directory. Okay. Then if CD dot, then what's the use of CD using the CD dot? I just want to know.
That's what.
If it stays in the same directory, what's the use of the CD dot?
No use. It's illogical, right? No use. So that's where example I gave it with cp command. Starting.
Okay. Yeah.
So my context of point is the dot denotes current directory, dot denotes parent directory. That's it. Nothing more than that. So which command you use, it doesn't really matter. It's only the representation purpose. In the commands you can use dot is for to represent your parent directory, dot represent your current directory, dot. That's it.
Oh, thank you.
Hello, hi Raghu.
Yes.
In the before page, can you go to before page once?
Before?
Before page, I have opened. Right? In the copy command, cp/ where can we create new file in the source itself and move to the same destination?
You're talking about the current topic or the previous
one? The current topic only. You have created in the same directory one file, password. In the before page tab. If you go to
yes, I copied.
Here in the single dot introduction, there is below cp/etc/password. /etc is the folder which we have already. And then password is the one which you are creating new file, right?
It's not, cp command is not about creating a new file, right? So cp command is to copy the file. So there is a file already etc password. So some dummy file, doesn't really matter. Maybe a shadow. Okay, doesn't really matter. So an existing file I'm trying to copy.
Is this shadow is the existing file?
Yeah, of course. Otherwise you'll not get it right. So
yeah, that's what
XYZ to ABC will not happen. So it will tell that XYZ doesn't exist.
That's the doubt. Yeah, I got it. That's what I'm thinking. Can you create file while copying
right? In
itself?
Windows, can you copy a file which doesn't exist?
Yes.
It's same. No difference. Yeah. Yes, Rajesh.
Hi, Raghu. Actually, you created password file, right? So if you're not giving any extension, what it may be, what is the file format, like text or any, what is the format?
Doesn't really.
Got it.
Okay. Any other questions? Do lower your hands once you're done with your questions, please, so that
Hi, Raghu. Karthik here.
Yeah.
So just one question. Say, for instance, we have, like a PDF downloaded in a Linux machine. Okay.
We're
And
not
we
there
have,
yet. Right? We're not there any about downloading nothing. If you
no,
have
no.
any question about CD command or PWD command, please raise it. Otherwise, maybe park your questions to end of the session. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
So there's a question, if two files with same name with a different extension, will it accept? Yes, it accepts. Windows also accepts. What is wrong? Okay. So, and I see. Okay. All right, I think most of the questions are answered from the chat also. All right, the next one is going to be how do we create our directories? How do you create your directories? Which is by using mkdir command. So you create a directory by using mkdir, it will just give demo and do ls. The directory demo is created. But how do we come to know this is a directory, this is file? It's confusing, right? So basically, it's very difficult. So that's where ls-l can help you. ls-l can help you. The demo is a directory. It's starting with the D. It's starting with D. So that is where it is actually a directory. Whereas if it is a normal file, it is starting with hyphen. Hyphen represents a normal file. Okay. So D denotes a directory. Okay. All right. So that's about simple thing. I think there is nothing too much complex about it. Okay. So mkdir, simply the directory name. Okay. So the next one is how do you copy directories? Now, for an example, if I have any directory, let me make some content. So I already have demo. So maybe I'll go inside demo, touch new.txt or something like that, or new. So something extensions doesn't matter, right? So come back. How do you come back to your parent? How do you go back to your parent directory? Dot. Okay. So ls. Now, if I want to copy the directory, so cp demo to demo1 or something like that. Okay. Then enter. So you're going to get an error saying that, so -r option not specified. It's a cp command only, but when you're copying the directories, it has to be -r. Okay. So that is where it's going to copy. Now do ls. The demo one is there. You go inside demo one and do ls. All the files inside the demo also will be copied into demo one. So that is the idea. So cp command is actually going to copy the directory. Okay. Copy the full directory and its content. But there are some criteria comes into picture. So what is the criteria? What you're trying to see? Let's say assume that cp source and target. Now, if the target exists, and if it is already a file, that means so cp demo to, I'll give a file which is password. Okay, so password. So demo is a directory, but password is a file. Do you think is a logical operation? No, right? So it's going to tell that omitting directory because you're not giving -r. Okay, let's give -r. Okay, then what it is telling is it cannot override non-directory password with directory demo. Okay, it's an illogical operation. Okay, so that's what is that's what is you have. The next one is okay, what if the target exists and if it is a directory? Now, for an example, now previously I had given cd demo and demo one. Previously demo one was not there. Okay, now demo one is already there. So then what happened? Okay, -r is missing. So -r. So if I just do this, okay, what happened? Demo one is already there. Then what is the behavior, by the way? Now, if I go with ls of demo one, it will show me another demo directory inside that. So that means if the target exists and if it is a directory, then it copies the file inside the directory. Copy the file or directory, doesn't really matter. file or directory inside the directory. Inside the directory. So that is what is happening. You just copied inside the directory. So this is a little tricky. If you give a target, which is already exists, then it copies the file in copy the directory inside the directory. And if the target doesn't exist, it will copy the directory to the new target name. So which is the default one, like, so previously I have shown demo to demo1 doesn't exist. It copied demo as demo1, but the demo1 exists. It copied demo inside demo1. That is the behavior of CP command. So you have to be, cautious when you actually use the CP command. So it all depends upon the target. Depends upon the target. So we're going to deal with that. I'll take up the questions just immediately after the next command, which is MV command. So MV is basically, so move the files or directories, okay, as well as rename the files and directories. Okay. Now, yesterday you talking about, so MV demo1. Now, so it's going to be demo1. So I did a rename right now. Okay. Now, how it became a rename? If the destination, now you have source and destination. If the destination doesn't exist, it renames the directory. And if the destination exists, the source will be moved into the directory. So for an example, MV, like let's say password. Now, if I just give demo1, now MV source is a file, not a directory. It can be a directory or file, doesn't really matter. Now the target exists and it is a directory. Okay, do ls. Now password is not there anymore here. And do ls of demo1, you'll see the password moved inside here. So that means you can move the file from one location to another location with the help of, once you know about the directories, like, you can do that. Otherwise, it is going to be a rename. That's why a single thing will be done. Maybe in Windows, it is a two operations. Rename is a separate operation. Moving means cut paste is a separate operation. But here, it is going to be done by a single command, that is MV command. Okay. Does it make sense? Any questions?
Hi, Raghu.
Yeah.
I understood this move command, but I didn't understand that like a copy command, like -r you used, right? And cp demo1 you used, and cp -r demo1 you used.
So it's all depends upon the criteria. So now copy is having two criteria. If the target exists, if the target doesn't exist. Okay.
Okay.
Keep like source and target, CP source and target. If the target exists or the target doesn't exist. So these are the two criteria. If the target exists, it copies inside the target.
Okay.
If the target doesn't exist, it copy in the name of target.
Okay. If target exists, we need to use them cp -r. If it doesn't exist, we don't need to give that, right?
Yes.
Okay.
See, it's all depends upon not like that, but it depends upon what you want to do. Okay.
Okay.
So it depends upon what you need to do. You have options out there. You have to follow.
I just want a difference. Why you are using -r and not using -r?
-r is essential when you actually use it copying your directories.
Okay.
So it is asking, right? It's clearly throwing an error saying that. So CP is for copying the files. Now to copying the directories also, they leverage the same option, same command, but enabling some option that is -r. You're dealing with the directory, -r. That is what CP is expectation.
Okay. If we are copying the files and no need of -r.
No need, exactly. Oh yeah, maybe I missed that point, by the way. -r is essentially needed. So CP command is expecting -r if you're dealing with a directory. Your source is a directory. If your source is directory, then -r is needed.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Anyone? Any other questions? All right. So the last option around the directories is how do you remove the directories? Here also it is asking -r option. Okay. We already know rm-f, but rm is for files. And to deal with the directory also, you have to go with rf. Okay. rm-rf. F means again, it's not going to ask for yes or no. Okay. Or demo1. So that's it. So now the demo1 would have been gone. rm-rf demo if I give, so then it is removing the demo. Okay, so now you can use rm command also again to remove the directories, as simple as that. Yeah.
Sir, in the previous section, in the moving directory section, there is a second one, no demo to demo 4, right? You said the Linux is case sensitive, right? How it will, rewrite the existing file?
Yeah,
The
it's case sensitive. That's where it is renaming from this to this.
Okay.
If you ask me see, if Linux is case insensitive, what is the point? You can ask me. But Linux is case sensitive, right? So the demo one is different. This demo one is different.
No, not in this removing, in the previous moving directory. If we go back.
Moving only I'm talking about. Here only I'm talking about.
Okay. Okay.
Any other questions? Okay.
Yeah, hi Raghu.
Yeah.
So in the copy command, right, you just mentioned when the destination directory is not there, so the existing directory will be renamed as,
Not rename. Words are very important. No rename. Copy.
Okay, so which means that the source directory will exist and also a new directory with the destination directory will get created, right?
Yeah, of course. In Windows also same thing, right? You copy a file, paste a file, your source will never get touched, right? So copy. Same thing. So I copied, pasted, it pasted as like this. So there I am giving my own name rather than relying on OS.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Hi Raghu.
Yeah.
So whenever you do copy directory 1 to directory 2, will the files will be overwritten or will be added to the next target directory?
If what is the condition? Sorry, come again.
If you copy from directory 1 to directory 2, will the files in directory 2 will be?
Of course.
Okay.
Of course. Windows also you copy a folder, all the files will come, right?
I mean, if directory 2 will be overrated or it will be added, the files will be added to the directory 2.
No, the whole directory will be copied inside directory 2.
Okay.
As dir2. Yeah.
There will be no overwriting, right? I mean, if there are any existed files in directory 2, they won't get overwritten, right?
There are. If there are files with the same name, it will overwrite. It will ask for yes or no.
Okay. Okay, fine. Thank you.
Hi, Ravi. My question is related to move command. So we are using same command for moving the file or directory and for renaming, right? So if the file or directory exists, it will move the file or directory. Otherwise, it will rename, right?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. So the next one is going to be is how do we, one more. Okay. Go ahead, Bhavani.
Raghu, like what is the difference between the move and copy command?
Move is to move the files, right? Cut, paste. Copy is copy, paste.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's move on to the next one. So which is how do you see the content of a file? So when people are asking me, okay, how do you see the content? Okay, if you have some files, want to see the content, a simple command is a cat anaconda, ks.cfg. So you can see all the content inside the file. In Windows, how do you do that? So maybe you double click the file and it will open that particular file, right? So here you're going to use the command. Okay, so cat, so cat a file name. So maybe it is some file. I'm just giving some example here. So file name. So you're getting some content. Some content doesn't really matter. There's a file and it has text file and you're getting the content. As simple as that. So cat also has some additional options, so to deal with creating of the file and something, concatenating something, don't bother. Okay. We want to see the content of the content. We want to see the content of the file. I use cat command. That's it. Okay. So it can empower you 100 things. I don't want to worry about that because we have other ways to do with that. Okay. For creation of the file, we already talked about touch command. We use touch command. Okay. So maybe cat side, we don't need to really talk about. So maybe concatenating, like, so 2 commands output, you want to get it in one place, something like that. You can, so you can use concatenate, or you can add some content to the file. All these things can be also done by cat command, but I don't want to touch them because it's not necessarily needed, because we have some better ways to do that. Though this guy offers everything, but there are other ways which are better to do that. I'll talk about that. So creation of the file, the better command I talked is touch command, and so to edit the content, so we have an editor coming up. So we'll talk about that. So I don't want to bother about. So the cat command I want to see, only to see the content of the file, I use cat command. I'm talking about that much, and which is fine. And sometimes there is an -n option comes handy. So it's going to cat the content along with line numbers. That's it. Very simple. We want to see the file content, so then cat and that particular file. Okay. All right. So that's about the cat command. And hoping there won't be any questions around this. Let me just go on to the next one. After this particular deck, I'll take the questions. So if I have a big file, assume that I have a big file. Now you wanted to go with certain criteria, okay, in getting the content. Now I don't want, like I said, there are 1,000 lines. I don't want 1,000 lines getting up. By the way, I want to get some content of that particular file. And that can be done by, using some filter commands. And these filter commands are really handy. Okay. By the way, so that is where we are going to learn about these particular basic commands again. So even if you ignore these commands also, I am okay. Okay. These, especially these deck filter commands, if you ignore the practice also, I'm okay with these commands. May not regularly maybe regularly not come into our day-to-day work also. But still, if you know this, you can empower yourself. You can improve your productivity a little bit better. So in that context only, I'm bringing these commands. Okay. So these are essentially not a mandatory commands to do my job. Okay. So without these also I can do, but just learning this may be easier, by the way. So that's where if you have a file, now I already know the cat command, so if I have the 1,000 lines, I can simply go and, so read line by line, but maybe reading line by line is not going to be improve your productivity, because maybe I'm looking for some particular content. Okay. So just give me 1 minute. Just give me 1 minute. Sorry. Okay. So the next one is, so, I mean, if you have so many lines, by the way, now rather than reading line by line, I want to improve my productivity, saying that, so I would like to go with, so seeing particular lines. And when you want to see some particular lines, there is some criteria comes into picture. Based on the line numbers you want to go. Maybe I want to see the first 5 lines, first 50 lines, first 500 lines, something like that. Then the head command will come into picture. So head off, I'm taking the same file, etc password, some regular file, by the way. So that's okay. So it is going to bring me the lines, and those are top 10 lines. You're going to get top 10 lines. You're going to get top 10 lines. All right. And the next one is, and the next one here is, if you want only the particular line numbers. Okay. If you want only the particular 5 lines, maybe I was talking about 5 lines, 50 lines, 500 lines like that. So now if you want particular 5 lines, then -n particular line number you give. By default, it is going to give you 10 lines. If you want only a particular line numbers, okay, so then it is going to be so then it is going to be particularly -n number. Okay, the same way, like ending of the file also you want to get it. So then you're going to get it by using tail command. So head and tail. Head means starting, tail means ending. So tail is going to give you last 10 lines, etc password, last 10 lines. So tail -n, maybe if I go for -n3 or something like that. So you're going to get the last 3 lines like this. Last 3 lines. There is one more option which we needed around the tail command. We'll talk about that bit later. Okay, but for now, so this is the context. I want to filter the content. I want to filter the content. And also generally one more question will come into picture. So, hey, Raghu, can you, if I want to get line number from, let's say 15 to 20, only the line numbers 15 to 20, I want to get it. Then how do you do that? So at this point of time, it is not possible with the options which we learned. Later, one more topic will come into picture. That time you can combine multiple commands. Okay. So that way you can get it. So for an example, just to show you cat-n/etc password. Now there are total this one. So if you're asking me 10 to 15 lines, so then yes, I can do that. So then basically like, so head of -n15. Okay. So then tail -n6. So 10 to 15 is coming. But what is this happening? You don't know at this point of time, ignore it. Later, I'll talk about that pipe symbol and that time you'll understand it. But for now, so head is going to get the top 10 lines by default. If you can give a custom number, and tail is going to give the last 10 lines, you can give a custom number. So this is how you can filter the content, by the way. Now, if your criteria is not based on the line number, so line number is one criteria. And if your criteria is to get based on some sort of searching a word and printing it. Okay, so searching a word and printing it. So grep of a word, by the way, for an example, a word, and the file name is etc password. Okay, so etc password. So grep root of /etc password. Grep root of /etc password. Now you get this. Okay, you get only the lines which is having a word root. For an example, grep of bash of /etc password. There is a word bash. You are getting only this line. Maybe grep of some login of /etc password. Now you get all the lines which is having a word called as login, matching with login. So this is how you can get the things by using a grep command. So when you have so many things, for an example, maybe there's a log file. I want to search for errors. What all the errors are there of an application? What all the errors are there? So maybe grep error of that particular file, it gets all the error lines, by the way, easier. Okay, like that. So this is how it is going to be. The last option around the filter. So if you want to go with a column-based filtering, so far you have seen is a row-based filtering, either it is a line or whether it is a line or row. Grep, by the way, you're going with the row, so you're getting the line. But I want to get a column-based. Now I want to cut this way. Okay, and around this, the best command which you have available here is awk command. Now this file itself is having the column. Actually, these are all columns, proper columns. Each and every column is delimited with a colon symbol. So that's where what I'm going to do is awk-f and colon. Okay, awk-f colon. And there is something called as, so in single quotes, flower braces, print $1. That means first column I'm asking to print, and from the file of etc password. So these are the syntaxes. You have to enable those syntaxes. You get it. So for an example, if I want to get first column and second column, $1, $2. So $1, $2, it is giving first column and second column. You're asking for such columns and you're getting them. So when you have a file, for an example, if I have a comma separated file, if I have a comma separated file, so then in that particular case also, okay, so then I am going with that. So for an example, maybe so the downloads, for an example, so there are some CSV files will be there. Yep, CSV. So if I see this maybe contacts .csv file, now cat this contacts.csv file. Okay, now if I hit it, so I get so much big thing, maybe if I just get the word count hyphen of this one, I am having 5,668 lines. Okay, so maybe this guy, and I'm just want to, sorry for this, $5. I word count hyphen. So there are, yeah, total these many lines are there. So now if you have so many lines like this, and okay, it's already numbers, so it's not real CSV. That maybe, yeah. So you see this, by the way, so I have a big data. So for an example, I have this file. I have 640 contacts. Now these are all contacts, by the way, with the phone numbers as an example. Okay. Now the first column is the phone number. Maybe second column is also phone number. That's okay. But I want only the first column, right? Now I have the data. So how do I do filtering? Now you think about the power of Windows versus Linux, right? So in Windows, if you have the same file name, now if I open the same file name, okay, so then, okay, just think about how can I, okay, so how can I get the first column? Just think about how can I get the first column in Windows. Okay, so maybe you can do that. So you can go to the Excel sheet and, you know, so deal with that. So you use another tool, that's okay. But Linux command lines are very much easy. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to say that, hey, I want the first column. So awk -f, this is a comma separated file. I'm giving comma. In our case, previous example, it is a colon separated file. I'm giving colon. Okay, so here it is a comma separated file. I'm giving this in flower braces. So print $1 single shot, you're done. Though you have complex data, you can easily deal with that. Just as an example, I'm trying to tell you, right? So that's how you get a column-based filtering by using awk command. Okay, so maybe if I want the first column and maybe, you know, so the third column, by the way, whether it is failed or something like that. So then third column, right? So comma $3. So comma $3. So you can see this all coming. Okay, so this is how you can do the column-based filtering. So filtering the file, by the way, maybe you can just use it to do your bit work faster. So that's where these particular commands. All right, so so what we have seeing the full content by using cat command, and you can filter your content by using head and tail, and then grep and awk command. Okay, these are the commands which you can use go for filtering. Yeah, any questions? Go ahead, Vijay.
While using grep command, can we give if you don't know the file name, can we give the word only?
It doesn't make sense, right? If you know the file name, you can give a word and the file. Then it will
If
work.
we don't know the file name?
You have to know. You should know, right? What you want to get and where you want to get, you should know. In Windows, you tell me, okay, you're asking me a question, which is fine. In Windows, what do you do?
We will see the path in the files.
So here also you do that, right? You find out the file name. So I already told you, you can go to cd command, do ls, cd command, do ls. You can find out your file. So the question is hypothetical. It's not practical. Make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes, Pradeep.
Instead of using colon, you have used comma, for arc. So what is the difference? Colon as well as comma.
Depends on the file, right? Here in my file, this file is having each column is delimited with a colon symbol. That's where I used colon. In the other file I was showing, if it is it's delimited with comma. So that's where I have given comma. If it is semicolon is delimiting it, so then you have to use semicolon like that. So whatever is a delimited, so between one field to another field, what is the separator? And that's where you have to tell with awk with -f option. Depends upon the file.
Oh, okay.
Yes, Mahendra.
Raghu, like you told, like concatenation is to show the files, but again, the head also showing the concatenation of the files, right?
without using
It is
enter
showing
name?
only the top lines, right? So the criteria is coming. The criteria of cat command is all lines. Head
Okay.
criteria is only the top 10 lines or top given lines.
Okay, it
Criteria.
also it like tags like to show the files, but the top commands.
Top lines.
Okay.
Anyone? Any other questions?
We need to filter out like some particular part, then concatenation comes on. We need to give some filters, like 15 to 30th line, like that.
Yeah, based on the line number criteria. If you want to filter, then head and tail.
Okay, that concatenation word also we should be using here, right? That filter.
No. So for example, forget about concatenate. See the content. Let's keep that. You want to see the content.
Okay.
The context is just see the content. Yes, Ramesh.
Yes, hi Raghu. Raghu, when we are typing any command, before that we have that path, right? Root @ something. But in the previous example, when you are searching the mobile number in the list, it came like downloads.
That's not a Linux box, right? That's my local laptop.
Oh, local laptop. Okay. Okay, that's what my doubt.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, Sriram.
Yeah, am I audible?
Yeah.
Yeah, if we have a requirement like to see the first 10 lines along only first column, then we can we merge like AWK along with head?
You can.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yes, Venkatesh.
Yeah, in our command, when the sentence is delimited with the colon, so you give colon, and to identify the row number, you are giving $2 or 3 something, so it is printing. If it is delimiting colon in one space and it is delimiting with comma in another space, how to handle that?
Still, AWK supports, by the way. Okay, you have to give multiple delimiters.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So in AWK, so for an example, cd of this file to dot here, and maybe yeah. So that password file. So now you have this file. So the first set lines is actually delimited with colon, and the second set of lines is delimited with comma. Same file, I just added with comma. Now in this particular case, you can still AWK will still support that. So AWK-F. So you can just go and give in a square bracket because you have multiple values. So then it is going to be colon, comma, comma. Okay. So and then print $1 of just the password file. So you get this. So until here, it is colon. Until here, from here it is comma. Still it works. First delimiter, comma, second delimiter in square brackets will work. AWK is very big. So see, theoretically, you can ask 100 questions, 1,000 questions also. But into the practical, so whether it is needed or not needed, also you can compare. But anything if you want, by the way, that command can help you most.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, Vamsi.
Yeah, hi Raghu, good morning.
Yeah.
AWK-F, you're using whether pipeline command or directly you're giving that print statement. I'm not getting it. Pipeline command is used in grep only. No?
Pipeline. What is this pipeline? Pipe symbol. Okay.
Sorry, pipe symbol. Sorry.
No,
yeah,
we are
pipe
using directly, no pipe symbol, right?
Okay. Raghu, and one more thing, like a print, you are giving like one is for first column, right? Print you make, yeah, print $1 actually,
yeah.
That is for first, for displaying that first command.
Column. First column.
Yeah. For example, if you want to come from last, whether you can give like, how can you?
You can. you have options. I would suggest you to, when you have requirement, you think about it. Enough is there.
Okay.
Nth field. You don't know the last column number. Enough can help you. Nth field. Or you know the number. Maybe a 10th is the last column. Give $10. What is that?
Okay. Okay. If you know the number, you can give directly the number after that. But if you don't know, you can give simply NF. Yeah, you got it. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Anyone? Any other questions before proceeding?
Yes, Raghu, this is Ramesh.
Yeah, go ahead. Please do practice the thing, like raise your hand, I can call you. Okay. Otherwise, you don't raise it, so I'll not come to know. Please do that. That's okay. Now you can go ahead. From next time, please implement that. Yeah. Go ahead, Ramesh.
Yes, Raghu, to search a word, if you know the file name, we will search. Otherwise, if you want to search a number of files which has some word, we have any way to search?
Yeah, you can. So search for
how?
options. Search for the options. I already told, right? If you don't know the command, by the way, all its options. I want to search a word. So there is a grep a directory. Like let's say all the files are in directory. Just as an example, grep a directory in Linux. So then you find out the option. Okay, or grep help you read it. If you want, you can go through the examples directory, or you don't know the grep help. You have patience to read about the documentation from the grep. You read about it, and so generally, like the option which you have here is which I know the option, but this one -r is the option, recursive. So grep -r is going to do the complete directory search. But at least you should know the directory. You don't say me that I don't know the directory. Okay, so somewhere it has to be logical. Make sense?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. And the next one, which we're going to talk about, is an editor. So far we deal with the files, that are empty files, and after that we deal with some files which is existing in the system, which is an existing content. Now I want to create my own files or existing to modify the files. Okay, and I want to do some editing. Okay, how do you do that? How do you do that? So that is where an editor comes into picture. There are so many editors. Windows also you have Notepad. Notepad also have limitations, and so you have WordPad. Okay, what is a Notepad limitation? Notepad is a very big limitation you have. You have only one control jet in Notepad. I don't know people know about it or not. You have only one control jet in a Notepad. That means, like, let's say I make first change, second change, third change. I want to go back to the first change. So now I cannot press two control jets in Notepad. So that's a very big problem. Like no one really uses it unless until some temporary content, by the way. Okay, so then you have is a WordPad. So Windows itself natively comes with two editors. One is Notepad and WordPad. Okay, so these two things. And apart from that, you can go ahead and install so many editors. Maybe like people of their choice, they'll go and install their editors, right? Text editors of their choice. The same way here, Linux also, you have so many editors which are there, but natively and powerful and as well as widely used is VI editor. Okay, VI is very powerful at the same time, very famous, powerful, widely used. Okay, so that's where it is VI. And VI, there is an enhanced version which is VIM. Both are same, but little bit enhanced version, VIM. So then in VIM editor, so we'll see that how can you make some change. Okay, I'm telling two flows, by the way, here. We can edit the file, and by saving the changes, we edited the file, we discard the changes and come out. These are the two things we do, right? We open a file, we edit the file. Okay, we save the changes and close the editor. We open the file, we save the changes. I don't want to save the changes, discard the changes and come out. These are the two possible scenarios, isn't it? Do you think anything else will come? No, right? Because anything else you want to come because you have previous commands. Cat command is to see the content. By the way, you have content by using cat command or any other filter commands. Maybe in Windows also to see the content also you open in editor. Maybe here you have different commands to do that. So we are going to use editor particularly for this. We are going to open the editor. Okay. And you're going to edit the changes and you save the file and come out. That's it. That much is fine. Now, in order to do that, what to do? So what I'm telling is VIM file name. Okay. So VIM, whatever the file name, for an example, sample.txt. If the file is not there, it will create it. If the file is already there, it will load it. If the file is already there, it will load it. If the file is not there, so if the file is not there, it will create it. Okay. So then it is telling that it is a new file. Okay, that means it is creating. After that, either press insert or I character. What you do, if you want to get the changes, by the way, you want to make the changes. Okay. So then what you have to do, you have to press I or insert. Okay. So I'm pressing, insert button. I pressed insert. In your keyboards, you have insert. If you don't have insert button, you can go with I character. Anything is fine. So make the changes. Okay. So I'm just saying, hello world. I'm just telling. And after that, press escape. Once you're done with your changes, press escape. Or else I want to, so copy some content, by the way, from the internet. Also, I can do that. Maybe, okay. So VIM editor. Okay. Something like that. So here it is telling, and VIM is highly configured. So let me copy this text. I'll just go here, and even you can paste it here, just pressing Ctrl V, you can do that. Or else right click also works, I think. Okay, you can do the paste. All right, so which is fine. And after you make all the changes, what I'm telling, press escape. You can copy the things from the Windows, other places, and you can paste it also inside this editor, which is fine. Then come back here. So what you do, press escape. Press escape. And then after that, press colon. So then you go to the colon and press WQ, type WQ and enter. You're done. What I have done, I did the follow. So open the file, entered into the insert, make some changes, press escape and colon, and then press WQ. Okay. Now the content is saved here. Now the second flow is VIM sample.txt. And so VIM sample.txt. VIM sample.txt. Now you can come out without saving the changes. So for an example, I make the changes. Okay, but I don't want to make the changes. So VM open the file. Okay, and then make some insert, make some changes. That's okay. If you want to open the file, maybe I just need to adjust this document a little bit. Let me add that. It's a little. VI editor. So here VM. So press same thing, press insert, make some changes. And then after that, you do that. Okay. That's fine. That will get applied in some time. That's okay. So now VM file, so insert some changes. I did it. Okay. And now press escape. Okay. Press colon. Okay. Colon and press Q exclamatory. Now I don't want to save the changes. Then Q exclamatory. That's it. You're done. So that means you go to the sample.txt. You don't see those changes. Either you open the file and make some changes, or you don't. You open the file, you don't save the changes. You want to come out also, Q exclamatory. So just follow this flow. Open the file, insert, make the changes, escape colon WQ, come out. So these simple flows, if you remember, which is fine. But I want that much only. I don't want anything else. You wanted to learn about the editor because we don't use this VI editor mostly in the system. Okay, maybe 1 or 2 weeks we'll use it. That's it. Okay. Later, everything goes under automation. Okay. We never get a chance to edit the things on the server. In the real-time world, you will never get a chance to log into the machine and do the modifications of the real machines. Everything goes as an automation. Our fundamental pillar of the DevOps engineer role is an automation. We'll work on the automation. While you work on the automation, so the VI editor will never help you. There's one more editor called as SCD editor. We'll talk about that. And there, if you are having a question like, how do I search and replace, Okay, these particular general criteria, if you have in mind, those particular operations will come from SCD editor, which we discuss in the shell scripting concept. Okay, at this point of time, this much is fine. How do you create a file if the file is not there? How do you modify a file if the file is there? And that much is fine for me if you learn the things. Does it make sense? Any questions? No questions on editor? Usually I get so many. So someone. Okay, cool. How to edit a specific line in the file? Go to that particular line, right? So what is that? So go to the VM file name. So now if I want to edit this particular line, I go to that line and press maybe insert button. You start in the press the insert also at the starting. So then, you can just do that. So highly configurable text editor. Okay. So, or maybe I want to replace that with widely. Okay. So I'm done with, so escape :WQ, done. I did it right. Isn't it?
Yeah, hi, good morning.
Yeah.
In this particular, how do I delete a particular line? If I want to delete a third line of this V8, so how
I
can
told you, right? To edit the file, we generally get onto the automation. So we'll talk about another editor.
Okay.
VIM editor, we don't actually generally get a chance to deal with all those options.
Here we cannot use DD escape DD colon, right? Cannot
You
use
know
it.
the option, right? Why are you asking me that?
Can we do that here in this? For
No,
this
you know
DevOps?
or not? Tell me honestly, you know that.
I know, but no, that's why I'm asking this in this DevOps automation case. So
No. Wait, wait. VIM editor for DevOps, VIM editor for someone is different or same?
I don't know exactly. That's what is
One.
same.
So you know the option already.
Yeah.
See, like I told, okay. So now you tell me you know the option. Like, what is your work background, by the way? Can you comment on that?
Which one?
I mean, what is your work experience? Like, which technology you work on?
I'm currently working with AWS and Linux. Like,
okay, you're from a Linux background.
Yeah, Linux and AWS background. So I don't know the DevOps part.
One second. Just please answer me some questions. I'll give you the answer which you're expecting. Okay.
Yeah.
Will lead to that. Now in the Linux, by the way, now as a Linux administrator, now you prefer to do the things on the server as an automated way or a manual way?
It's manual way. There is no automation.
You're doing manual way.
Yes.
In 2022, 2023.
Yeah.
So
that's
is how
why
you do that.
I went to yeah. That's why I went to backbench now. Still not going to front.
So you're doing the things very badly. Okay.
Yeah.
So so there is a first company you're working on, or you have prior experience, by the way?
This is the third company.
So you never used anywhere the automation?
See, in this couple of in the last month, I used spin up the AWS instance using Terraform. So I use the script, but it's not in the Linux, right? There's no Linux.
Not a satisfactory answer. Okay, so let's say you go to the outside world and you want to apply. So so say to the outside world that, hey, I'm working as a Linux administrator, and if you don't hold an experience of automation with you, you will never an administrator, right? So what you admin then? So one machine, two machines. If I give you 10,000 machines to administer, so your knowledge eventually will not skill to match. So that's where you cannot even call yourself also as a Linux admin, by the way, because you cannot work at a scale, isn't it? So
yes.
Yeah, so here VA editor, which you already know the options, which is fine. So that because the way which I'm working is a dead way. Okay, so it's not the right way, not the dead way. Also, it's not the right way of doing the things. Automation is a fundamental to the today's world, by the way. And we had to do that. So now, I mean, so you go to the Amazon and you click a server, like, so double clicks, you get it, I mean, just with less than 30 seconds, you're getting a machine. And you never bothered about how these guys are actually doing it. Never bothered. So because if you want to install a machine, you know the process, right? So you start from, at least you configure any PXE booting kind of a thing, PXE booting.
Yes.
PXE booting, right? Now you do a PXE boot and you do the, you do the Anaconda configuration, all these particular things. And also at least it takes an hour to configure a machine. Now how Amazon is doing in just less than 50 seconds or 30 seconds. So don't you wonder, and so can't we achieve in our, we never tried that. That's a fundamental mistake, like everyone will do, by the way. So we don't worry, all right? It's how the things are happening. So yeah, I think it's a too much extended conversation. I wanted to give you some context that, what is a mistake you're doing, because, okay, so what you know is not the reality, by the way, to the outside world, not to the DevOps, sorry, no DevOps for you.
Yes.
Your job is also you are not actually ready to work at a scale. That means you never work for an enterprise organization, by the way. Yeah. So you have to
Correct.
change the way.
I want to change
You should. You should.
Yes.
For sure, no doubt in that. So, but yeah, so even your work also, you can do it in a much powerful way, but you're not utilizing your powers. My point. Yeah. If you're really doing an automation, are you manager, you're going to stop you to do automation? No, right?
No.
That means you're not at all even worried about improving yourself. So at least every one of you, not only you, by the way, every one of you should think about improving yourself day by day. Okay, what am I yesterday? What am I today? Did I improve a little bit or not? So personally, we have to check. So that is where, like, a lot of people actually sitting in this particular DevOps training in 2023, that means you never thought about your careers, by the way. Okay, never bothered about. You go to the office, happily do your work, given work, and you come back. But you never bothered about, so what is next things to this? Okay, I'm doing the same thing again and again. What is the next thing to this? Is there anything that improvement I can do?
Yeah, that's why 2023 we realized that we need to upgrade it myself.
Not only to you.
Yeah, everybody.
It's not to you. That's okay. That's fine. I think I got your point. So it's not to you, I'm saying. I'm generalizing this since the point came into picture. So every one of you has to, so go to the organization. When you actually start working, you have to think about, okay, say I'm doing the same thing again and again. Okay. And whoever does the things again and again, those guys only will lose the job. Now, if you are doing the things which is not today the same thing, or tomorrow the same thing, those guys will never lose the job. Okay. So though I teach, I work, so end of the day, at least I had to spend 10-15 minutes to read something, to learn something. We have to do that. Okay. Otherwise, we'll not be able to compete with the outside market, right? So eventually it's your personal, every one of you start adopting this particular practice. Every one of you should worry about your careers. If not only just going and doing the work, by the way, you should always think about what is the next thing. Okay. When you actually don't think about what is next, you'll always end up in a disaster. Okay. Otherwise, other guy will think about it and move on. Okay. So that's where, so always please keep this particular point in mind. Always think about what difference I can make it. Okay. In today's job. So, okay. So that is very important, please. And coming back to the point. So any other questions on the VA editor?
No, nothing. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks for answering the questions as well. Yes, Anu?
Yeah, hi Raghu. So now, for example, in the config.xml file, we have about 1,000 lines, and we have to go to one line and edit. So how do we find that particular line? Hitherto, I was manually searching for that line.
Yeah, so that is where I was talking about. So Linux is so powerful in a way that, you told 1,000 lines. Now, if I ask you, like, so 1,000 lines on 10 files, just as an example. Now we want to modify all the 10 files in one shot, right? You can extend also your requirement, right? Now, if it is a one file, maybe I can tell you the answer of going with a VA editor and you do this. Now, if the work need to be done on 100 files, then again, you have to open 100 VAMs, isn't it? You can do with VIM. My point is you can do with the VIM, but do you think about doing that VIM is the right thing?
Yes, but manually, how do you go to one particular file? How do you search it?
I'm saying, no, I know the option. I don't want to teach you the option because the option is different versus the reality is different, right? you know about the reality, and then you use the option. Now I'm telling you, your question is 100% right, but not going to be working at a scale. Now I'll tell you the option. Now, if I give you 100 files, will you use the same option and do that?
No, then automation comes into picture.
Then why why single file you don't go with automation?
No, in my current project, this is the issue I face, and
no, we'll learn about it. Definitely we'll learn about it, but not here. This is not much powerful. I'm telling you, I'll teach you much more powerful than this later.
Sure, Raghu, thanks.
Yeah. So when the SCD comes into picture, please park your question at that point of time. I'll answer your question definitely. We'll do that. No doubt.
Sure. Thank
Automatically you'll get the answer. And even VA editor, so it is so lazy way to do it. The SCD editor in a simple way you can do that. So how to do that, we'll see there. Yes. Anyone? Any other questions? I think we're also time up as well. So until VA editor we have talked about. So the next things we'll take up in tomorrow's session. I'm hoping that every one of you is ready with your AWS accounts, because tomorrow we're going to start using AWS. So please get ready with your AWS accounts, and then we can start using it. Okay. All right. I see some questions in the chat or some people. Yes, Bipen.
Just for the continuation of the last question. So you mentioned SCD editor, right? So that we need to install it separately.
It comes out of box mostly.
Okay.
So there also is a basic machine is also there. SCD is a very basic command.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Anyone? Any other questions?
Hey, Raghu, this is Karthik here.
Yeah.
Just one heads up related to the timing. So if we can, wind up the classes by 9 every day, that can be helpful, because
will be mostly done. So I
yeah.
cannot say 100%. We'll be relatively try to close it, because sometimes the topics cannot be hard cut. So today the topic is already completed, but we're just taking the questions. That's okay.
Got it.
And you're free to drop, by the way. That's okay. But sometimes just in cautious. Even I have my job to start by 9:30. I definitely need some rest also. I'll do that usually. So 9, 10, or max of 5 minutes. Mostly like questions will extend. My topics, whatever I teach, mostly will be definitely close by 9 o'clock.
Yeah, not just because of the time constraint. I just need to make a move to the office.
Yeah. Even I have to go. I'm a little bit managing the first week, but at least next week I have to go. I mean, I'm just managing right now, going a little bit late, but even I have to go. So definitely, I'm with you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Anyone?
Hey Raghu, this is Sriram. Yeah, actually, was saying that from tomorrow onwards, we will be ready with AWS accounts, right? So we are going to be practice along with the class, right? Is that from tomorrow?
No. In session, I will do the things. You will watch the things.
Okay.
If you have any questions, same thing. Yeah.
After that only we need to if we have any doubts, we need to see the record session, and we need to practice ourselves, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And also I have every one of you, I have given the link to how to prepare your notes, by the way. Okay, there is a video given here, or if you are using some other links like this template also, if you are using to join the session. So there's an account, AWS account sign up, how to do that. There's a video on sign up. So even another link also it is there. And how to prepare notes, there is a video. I want every one of you to start making your notes. Though it is time consuming, please implement that time, invest that time today. I'm telling you, you get the results better tomorrow. Okay. So write your own notes. You must and should write your own notes, because over a period of time, you will get a burden of referencing, by the way. So you got a gap and you want to recall a topic, and where to find it out, it becomes a very difficult thing. So that's why you get a very bare minimum description from the YouTube, by the way. Okay. So, but however, you should be maintaining your own note and referring your own note. Okay. Adopt that particular practice, at least for my training, please, so that you can get the better results outcome. Okay. All right. Final call. Any other questions? Yes, Anup.
Yeah, good morning, Raghu. You are told about this creation of EC2 instance, right? You have to create the instance or only make the AWS account and keep it?
Just sign up.
Just sign up. Okay, okay. Then you will be telling about the EC2
Yeah,
instance creation.
Yeah.
Okay. Is it a free tier one or how?
Yeah, it's going to be accounts is going to be free tier, but we'll never use the free limits. We always cross the free limits.
Right from day one or in the later days?
Mostly like within a week, within a couple of days, we'll
Okay.
we'll start
Because
using
we'll not know much about this EC2 instance and unless
Okay.
if bill is wasted, right? So
just get ready with AWS. That's fine. I'll talk about
okay.
it.
Okay, fine. Okay, thank you.